Chapter 567. After everybody from the fiery dragon town entered the inn, Ling Ling walked to Han Fei. "Thank you for your help, fellow student." Han Fei grinned and said, "You're welcome. I'll help when I need to. That's how helpful I am." Well, Ling Ling's lips twitched. This guy seems to be rather shameless. Immediately, the students from the cloud, soaring town gathered around him. A girl asked, "Hey, what's your name? Hey, why did you help us? Did you fall in love with a girl from the cloud soaring town? Hey, the cloud soaring town is full of beauties. Hey." Han Fei suddenly felt that something was wrong. Why did his waist hurt? Han Fei chuckled. "Don't ask me why. Just call me asterisk asterisk asterisk." As he spoke, Han Fei grimaced and said, "Well, I have something else to do. I'm leaving. Bye, everyone." Han Fei slipped away, looking back as he ran. "Xiao-Xiao-Chan, let's talk this out." Zhang Xuanyu covered his head and leaned closer to Luo Xiaobai. "I'm so jealous." Luo Xiaobai shouted, "Get lost." Lu Renquang chased after him and shouted, "Han Fei, wait for me. Should we go and have some local specialties first? I see a gourmet shop." The tree core city was called the tree core city because everybody lived in the trees. The range of 10 meters to 30 meters from the ground was full of shops selling all kinds of things. For example, within 10 kilometers of the central tree, where Han Fei and the others were, all kinds of special products were available. There were shops selling shrimp dumplings, fish balls, steamed seafood, clothes, weapons, fishing rods, and daily necessities. It could be said that all the resources that people needed in life were here. Lu Renquang's goal was to eat. He crawled into the tree holes and grabbed dozens of skewers of fish balls and shrimp dumplings. As a result, the 5 of them really became out-and-out tourists who just ate, drank, and wandered around. Luo Xiaobai suddenly asked, "Han Fei, why do we need so much money?" Han Fei smiled and remembered the information that even spiritual stones had become a currency in the unknown place. He immediately said, "Because we will definitely need a lot of money in the future. I hate that Marshal Uncle Faceless robbed us of 5 billion. Otherwise, why would I be in this state?" Xia Xiaochan said, "I'll sell all the 1,000 low-quality spiritual weapons here. According to the price of 100,000 per weapon, that's only 100 million. Adding up all the other miscellaneous stuff, I'm afraid it's worth another 100 million, adding up to 200 million. The ordinary people in the Blue Sea town can't afford that, can they?" Han Fei smacked his lips and said, "That's right. I definitely can't eat it. A 1 in 1,000 chance of drawing a low-grade spirit artifact could only attract a small portion of people. But that's still money." Zhang Xuanyu asked, "Han Fei, don't you still have money?" "I don't have much either. Less than 500 million. I'm running out of money." Immediately, everyone was speechless. "Less than 500 million, and you're telling us that we're running out of money? How much F***king money do you need to have to be considered rich?" Suddenly, Han Fei saw a rather delicate tree hole on which the words "Fine Carving Accessories Shop" were carved. Han Fei's eyes lit up. "Let's go. We found a specialty." In the Blue Sea town, Han Fei saw more people. Some people would come here with fish bones hanging around their necks. But fine carvings couldn't be found anywhere except in the Linglong Tower. At this moment, the 5 of them stood in someone else's fine carving accessories shop, feeling that there were a lot of novel things. Xia Xiaochan's eyes immediately lit up. Wow! Luo Xiaobai was also overjoyed. No matter how cold a goddess was, she couldn't resist the temptation of jewelry. Basically, all the jewelry they could think of could be found here. The main categories included bracelets, rings, earrings, necklaces, belts, pendants, hairpins, ornaments subdivided. The types of jewelry were also divided into bone, gold and stone, rattan and grass. Then there were 2 categories, men and women. Before the shop owner came over to introduce them, Xia Xiaochan and Luo Xiaobai murmured and were dazzled. The 2 of them compared various kinds of jewelry from time to time and put them on, not to mention the women. Even Zhang Xuanyu couldn't help but start to choose. Only Lu Renquang, holding a fish ball in one hand, looked at Han Fei. "It doesn't look cheap." Han Fei grinned and said, "But it can't be expensive. A proprietress in her 30s walked over while twisting her waist. Hey, are you a distinguished guest from another town? Han Fei grinned and said, Proprietress, how much are the accessories in your shop? The proprietress said with a smile, Classmate, you can't tell me the price until you choose one. However, the accessories here are very cheap. You can't find an accessory shop cheaper than mine in the entire Tree Core City. After that, the proprietress went to Xia Xiaochan and Luo Xiaobai. In her opinion, men who entered an accessory shop had no spending power at all. Only women, as long as they came in, would never leave empty-handed. In less than 2 minutes, the 3 women giggled on the side. Even Luo Xiaobai didn't stop smiling. The proprietress kept praising them. Wow, my 2 little beauties. With this earring, even fairies can't compare to you. Hey, girl, this necklace, together with your vibe, makes you look even more valiant. If you stand in the arena, your enemies won't dare to move. Girl, this is a set of rings. It's unique in the entire Tree Core City. It's a perfect gift for young men. And this is a deep blue necklace decorated with deep blue sapphires. You'll look so wonderful when you wear it. All men will be fascinated by it. Come on, girl, I'll put it on for you. Don't take it off, Han Fei. Luren Kuang Zhang Xuanyu shouted, Fei, Fei, look at my leather bracelets. What do you think? Han Fei looked back, only to find that Zhang Xuanyu was wearing more than 30 bone bracelets and leather bracelets. Han Fei roared angrily, F*CKU, put it back. Zhang Xuanyu. Han Fei said angrily, Xia Xiaochan Luo Xiaobai, put them down. The proprietress certainly couldn't stand it. She immediately yelled, Young man, you can't talk to girls like that. Do you want to find a girlfriend or not? A woman's beauty needs to be expressed and appreciated. Look at you, you're still single, aren't you? Come on, let me tidy you up. I guarantee that a girl will fall in love with you the moment you leave the house. Han Fei, gloomily, Han Fei blocked the proprietress and shouted, Don't talk. I'll take all your things. The proprietress paused for a moment, but then she realized what he meant. Young man, you're still young. Don't brag. Han Fei sneered and picked up a bracelet. Look at this. It's made of the bones of green turtles, isn't it? Han Fei picked up another necklace. This is a gem from the mines of ordinary fisheries, isn't it? This is a bracelet made of the shell of an armored turtle, isn't it? How many bracelets can an armored turtle make? This is a hairpin made of the stinger of a purple-tailed scorpion, isn't it? How much is it worth? And this pendant, is it carved from the water spirit wood? It's just a common wood from the bottom of the sea in the level 1 fishery. The proprietress quickly said, It's rare, it's rare. Han Fei waved his hand and said, Anyway, what I've seen so far are all made of the materials from the ordinary fisheries and the level 1 and level 2 fisheries. Tell me, how expensive can it be? Han Fei pointed at the price of a belt and said, Is this thing worth 200 mid-quality pearls? The proprietress quickly said, Craftsmanship. Young man, you don't understand this. I'm selling craftsmanship here. Look at the ornaments here. They're beautiful. Han Fei tilted his head and said, Don't talk nonsense to me. Let me ask you, I've booked all the shops. How much is the discount? A blue sea wandering dragon dagger suddenly appeared in Han Fei's hand. An ultra-quality battle suit appeared on his body, and he held the water-dividing seal in his left hand. Han Fei smiled faintly. I have plenty of money, but I'm not a fool. Proprietress, I'm talking business with you now. Maybe this is the only chance for you to make a fortune in your life. The proprietress was slightly surprised. Are they all ultra-quality spiritual weapons? So, the proprietress was here? The proprietress immediately beamed and said, Young man, from the moment you entered the door, I already felt that you were dignified and extraordinary. 30% off, 30% off. Luren Kuang was dumbfounded. Why is it 30% off? Isn't this a bit too much? The proprietress gritted her teeth and said, 30% off is already my bottom line. My shop has 3 floors and there are tens of thousands of ornaments in total. 30% off? I don't have any profit left. However, Han Fei raised his head and said, I want 1,000,000 pieces. What's your discount? Chapter 568. At that time, The proprietress only felt that the boy in front of her was fooling her. How could anyone be so crazy as to ask for 1,000,000 accessories at once? They were all ordinary accessories. Was he going to buy them and eat them? However, with a wave of his hand, Han Fei threw out 10 large boxes, which added up to 200,000 mid-quality pearls. Han Fei said, "Look, I have plenty of money. The question is, do you have so many accessories?" The proprietress was stunned for 3 seconds and quickly shouted, "Yes, I have as many as you want. To tell you the truth, young man, we still have a lot of these accessories in stock. I should be able to get 1,000,000 pieces from the inventory. Even if I don't have them, I can definitely get them for you in 5 or 6 days at most." However, Han Fei didn't answer, but just looked at the proprietress with a smile. "What's the discount now?" The proprietress was sweating. Who knew that a rich man would suddenly fall from the sky? She had an idea. 50% off. I'll give you half of it. However, Han Fei said to Xia Xiaochan, "Put away the money. Let's go to other shops." Xia Xiaochan grinned, knowing that Han Fei was tricking her again. With a wave of his hand, he put away the boxes. Seeing this scene, the proprietress panicked and hurriedly said, 10% off, 10% off. This classmate, this is already very cheap. Nothing is cheaper than taking goods from me." However, Han Fei looked back at the proprietress. "What if I take 1,000,000 pieces from you every year?" The proprietress took a breath and then said in frustration, "Classmate, how much do you want?" Han Fei smiled. 50% off. The proprietress. At this moment, Han Fei knew that the proprietress was calculating the profits in her head. However, in his opinion, although these things were well made, the price of the materials wouldn't be expensive. If it were in the Blue Sea town, due to its limited strength, it might not be able to get so many materials and manpower to specialize in the jewelry industry. However, this Wind Thunder town was too large and had a large population. The villages under its jurisdiction were probably extremely rich. For example, the jewelry industry was developing rapidly. Of course, it didn't mean that the Blue Sea town didn't have them, but they were few and expensive. This meant that their sales were not high. But if he could get the goods at a 50% discount, it would be a different story. After he arrived at the Blue Sea town, he would be able to make a lot of money. What's more, he didn't just double it. As long as tens of thousands of people participated in the lottery at the price of 98 mid-quality pearls, the money would be earned back. The lady boss was silent for a few dozen breaths of time before she suddenly said, "Student, you're from another town. You want to go back to do business, right? If you want to buy the goods at a 50% discount, it's not impossible. However, the first shipment would require 2,000,000 pieces. Also, you have to reserve 1,000,000 mid-quality pearls as a deposit." Han Fei smiled again. "No problem. However, we don't have that much cash on us. Can we use a spiritual weapon as a deposit?" The lady boss was slightly taken aback. "It's not impossible. However, the price of ordinary low-grade spiritual weapons is not high in our Wind Thunder town. A low-quality spiritual weapon is worth 50,000 mid-quality pearls at most." Han Fei shook his head and said, "Then I'd better use mid-quality pearls. Xia Xiaochan, pay up." Xia Xiaochan immediately threw out a lot of boxes full of mid-quality pearls. Xia Xiaochan said, 1,000,000, please count them." The lady boss grinned from ear to ear. Businessmen like them didn't want to go to the fishery for adventures and just wanted to live a good life. This kind of wholesale business was worth millions. She couldn't miss it. Immediately, the lady boss closed the shop and said to Han Fei, "At most 5. At most 8 days. 2,000,000 pieces of goods, definitely not a small amount." Han Fei grinned and said, "Don't cheat me with the cheapest goods. I'm very rich. I can buy them in your house or in other people's houses. As long as you cheat me once, you won't be able to make money from me next time. In that case, you'll lose millions every year, won't you?" The lady boss nodded quickly. Yes. You'll be satisfied with the quality of the goods. When the time comes, I'll find someone to tailor a set of the best jewelry for these 2 girls." Han Fei grinned. "That's unnecessary. The quality is too low. I don't like it." "This." Han Fei immediately gasped. Xia Xiaochan had already stepped on him, and the latter said to him via voice transmission, I like it. Luo Xiaobai also grabbed Han Fei's clothes. I like it too. Han Fei chuckled. How can he make it better than me? Hearing Han Fei's words, Luo Xiaobai let go, but said to Han Fei, I want 5. 10 sets. Xia Xiaochan said directly to Han Fei, then I want 10 sets. You said it was you who made it. Han Fei was speechless. The quality is not the quantity. Can't you be a little more ambitious? 2 sets of fine goods each. Well, this matter is happily decided. Zhang Xuanyu said, Fei, what about me? Han Fei shrugged. You pay for the materials yourself. They walked out of the fine carving jewelry shop noisily. He didn't say when he would get the goods, nor did he say the details of the varieties. Anyway, he didn't say anything. He didn't even find someone to judge. He was not afraid that she would go back on her word at all. The lady boss couldn't help but look solemn. This was a real big customer. This was all because of the advantage of his shop being located near the central tree. Otherwise, this good business would never have fallen into her hands. And Han Fei and the others didn't care about this little money at all. Even if they were cheated, so what? They didn't say anything when Junior Uncle Faceless robbed them of 5 billion. Why would they care about this business of 10 million yuan? After walking for 3 or 5 kilometers, Lurin Kuang ate and drank all the way and didn't see anything particularly attractive. Xia Xiaochan sighed. It only cost 1 million yuan. That's too little. Luo Xiaobai added, more than that. I'm afraid this deal will cost at least nearly 20 million yuan. 1/10 of your wealth will be gone. Xia Xiaochan scoffed. But after returning to the Blue Sea town, I'll earn it back. Lurin Kuang said, it's too difficult to spend money. It's faster to spend it with Junior Uncle Faceless. Han Fei said angrily, I wouldn't be angry if you didn't mention him. As a junior uncle, he didn't even leave a penny for us. He's too stingy. He's so stingy. Luo Xiaobai nodded. He must have something that he can't tell us. Didn't the teacher say that? Han Fei smiled. What can he do that requires so much money? Mid-quality pearls are worthless in themselves, but they have value because they are used as currency. Junior Uncle Faceless needs money to buy things, which is the only thing that mid-quality pearls can do. What does he buy? He must be buying resources. But what is the purpose of buying resources? Luo Xiaobai suddenly said, to cultivate. Han Fei asked, so that he can cultivate by himself? Why would he need those ordinary resources to help him cultivate? Luo Xiaobai added, there are thousands of subordinates on the ship. I suspect that they are not from the major towns, but are trained by Junior Uncle Faceless. Han Fei nodded. I think so too, but I don't understand why he wants to train those people. Besides, do he need so much money to train 1,000 people? Luo Xiaobai also shook her head. I don't know, but I could tell that Junior Uncle Faceless seems to be short of money. The president said that you can't buy spirit awakening fluid with money. Han Fei was lost for words. That's our greeting gift. As an elder, how can he not give us a greeting gift? As he spoke, Han Fei felt that something was wrong. Even a man like Junior Uncle Faceless, who was strong enough to fight against the law enforcers, needed money so much? What about the nobodies like him? This fully indicated the importance of money. Before he went to the unknown place, he had to make more money. Suddenly, Han Fei stopped and froze. Xia Xiaochan looked back. Xia Xiaochan turned around. What's wrong? Han Fei suddenly raised his head and said, did we pass by a large arena on our way here? Zhang Xuanyu nodded and said yes. That arena is very large. I think it can hold 100,000 people. I don't think it will be a problem to hold 150,000 people. Luo Xiaobai nodded. If there are no accidents, we should have the competition there tomorrow. Han Fei didn't care where the competition was. He just chuckled. By the way, do you miss the days when we fought in the Blue Sea Arena? Luo Xiaobai suddenly said, I know what you are thinking. However, this will expose our strength in advance. I'm afraid that we will be recognized in no more than 2 rounds. Han Fei grinned. It doesn't matter. We have the 1,000 transformations technique. Lurin Kuang shook his head. That's not right. You can transform people, but you can't transform your spiritual beasts or contractual spiritual beasts, right? Han Fei frowned. That's true. Everybody wandered aimlessly. After all, the preliminary round was still to come. Xia Xiaochan asked, "Have you gone crazy from wanting to make money?" Han Fei was stunned. "Have I?" Xia Xiaochan nodded. "Yes." Han Fei muttered, "The level 3 fisheries expenses are already so high. How much are the expenses in the unknown place? If he didn't make some money now, he wouldn't be able to get it from old Bai." Han Fei suddenly said to Luo Xiaobai and the others, "Well, go shopping by yourself. I'm going to date Xia Xiaochan." Xia Xiaochan. Zhang Xuanyu wailed, "Are you so blatant now?" Lu Renquang scratched his belly. "Go. Remember to come back early for dinner." Luo Xiaobai. Han Fei took Xia Xiaochan's hand and ran away quickly. While running, Xia Xiaochan snorted. "Do you have to change places to date?" Han Fei scoffed. "Date my ass. Let's go to the arena." "Ah, don't stab me." First update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 569. The arena of the Wind Thunder Town was really huge. Han Fei sensed that it was at least 500,000 square meters. What did that mean? It was as big as 2 bird nests. Therefore, Zhang Xuanyu had underestimated it. At least 200,000 people could sit in it. If they squeezed a little, it could easily accommodate 250,000 people. Other than the difference in appearance, the general requirements of the arena were similar. They just needed to have seats, a venue, and a half-covered roof. The Wind Thunder Arena was about 150 meters high. The door was in the shape of a huge fish mouth, and each tooth was 5 or 6 meters long. The fish eyes were red, giving people a sense of majesty and horror. However, there were a lot of people coming and going in the arena. Among them, not only Han Fei's team, but also people from other towns were coming. At this moment, Han Fei and Xia Xiaochan had become 2 different people. Xia Xiaochan changed from a beautiful ponytail girl to a cute girl with mushroom hair. Han Fei had designed this for her just now, and Xia Xiaochan had complained for a long time. Han Fei, on the other hand, had become a wild and fierce man. He also made his hair into a dirty braid, which was disliked by Xia Xiaochan for a long time. The two had changed so much that others couldn't recognize them. Xia Xiaochan asked, "Do you really have a 3rd contractual spiritual beast?" Han Fei nodded. "Who said that one can only have 2 contractual spiritual beasts?" Xia Xiaochan frowned. "No, I know that you can have more than 2 contractual spiritual beasts, but it seems that a dangling fisher can only have 2 contractual spiritual beasts." Han Fei said with a smile, "You have 2 spiritual beasts." Xia Xiaochan pouted and said, "You have 2 too, okay? Don't scold me." Just as the 2 of them were talking, 5 people hurriedly descended from the sky. "Brother Tong, are we really going to fight? Won't our strength be exposed?" "Yes, Brother Tong. They all know that we should be competing here, so the Wind Thunder Town must have planted a lot of spies here to spy on other students." The man called Brother Tong chuckled and said, "What's there to fight? We're here to gamble." "Ah, Brother Tong, you mean you're here to gamble? Nonsense. How could we expose our strength at such a crucial moment? The Wind Thunder Town is not easy to deal with, but I've just inquired about it. You can place a bet here." One of the students said, "No, Brother Tong. What if we lose the bet? There is more. Why do we need so much money? Brother Tong, you're a famous nouveau riche." The man said with a smile, "What kind of money is that? How could a few million mid-quality pearls be considered money? You bunch of idiots. We're going to the unknown place in half a year." "The unknown lands? What kind of place is that?" It was a narrow escape, extremely dangerous. If you want to survive in the unknown lands, what can give you the strength? The students who were asked were a little confused. "It can't be money, right?" A student said, "I think it should be an ultra-quality spiritual weapon." Brother Tong's face turned green. "You're really an iron-head fish. Money, 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 money can give us power. What do you buy for free? Where did supreme-grade spirit artifacts come from? Robbing on our own? Is there something wrong with your head?" Han Fei was shocked by the conversation of these people. They were kindred spirits. His thoughts had actually been clearly dissected by that fellow. However, when Han Fei saw the man's face, he was stunned. "This man looks familiar. Who is he?" "Shoot." Han Fei remembered. When he was in the level 3 fishery, When he went to the undersea city from the seaborne grassland, he once robbed a peak-level dangling fisher's fishing boat. At that time, this guy threatened him with self-detonation. Wasn't it this guy? Xia Xiaochan tilted her head and looked at Han Fei. Do you know him? Han Fei grinned. More than that. As he spoke, before these people climbed up the stairs, Han Fei had already blocked their way with a swoosh. Jiang Tong and the others were all stunned. Looking at Han Fei's dreadlocks, they couldn't help but grimace. How could there be such ugly hair in the world? Han Fei touched his hair and said, What are you looking at? You don't know how to appreciate it all. Dreadlocks are a kind of art. Do you understand? Bumpkins. Those people immediately shouted angrily. Hey, who are you calling bumpkins? Jiang Tong said angrily. An advanced dangling fisher? Bro, you are too arrogant, aren't you? Han Fei crooked his finger at Jiang Tong and said, Whether I am arrogant or not, let's not talk about it. I want to say something to you. Jiang Tong frowned and said, I'm just a stranger. What do I have to say to you? Han Fei asked. Then are you interested in money? Jiang Tong suddenly changed the topic and said to the classmate next to him, Junior brother, wait for me for a moment. Not far away. Jiang Tong asked, Bro, what do you mean? Han Fei said with a smile, I mean exactly what I said. I heard you just now that you're here to make money. As it happens, I am also here to make money. I have an idea, which is sure to make money. Are you interested? Jiang Tong narrowed his eyes. Bro, which town are you from? Han Fei grinned. Sure, Chao Daiqiu from the fiery dragon town. What about you? The corner of Jiang Tong's mouth twitched. What the hell is this name? Can it be more technical? Jiang Tong narrowed his eyes. You're using a fake name. Why should I tell you my real name? Han Fei said with a smile. Anyway, I will know whether you tell me your real name or not at the beginning of the match. Jiang Tong chuckled. What about you? Why are you using a fake name? Because I don't participate in the match. Jiang Tong was puzzled. You don't participate? You are an advanced dangling fisher. How can you not participate? Unless you are a local of the Wind Thunder Town. No, I'm a local. Why would I come to cooperate with you? I could just randomly find someone. Jiang Tong was stunned. What kind of logic is this? Jiang Tong asked, Tell me how to make money first. Han Fei grinned. No problem. I will go up and fight. I guarantee that I will win. But you have to raise the stakes for me. Jiang Tong was stunned. You guarantee that you will win? You are an advanced dangling fisher. You guarantee that you will win? Han Fei shrugged. If strength can be judged by one's realm, I wouldn't be here to make money. Jiang Tong thought for a moment and said, But I heard that the arena is the banker. I can't be the banker. Han Fei said, Of course you can't be the banker, but you can find a way to trick people into betting. Han Fei smiled casually. Since you knew that you could make money here, you must have made some preparations, right? Did they arrange for people in advance? Han Fei thought that this person must have some connections. Otherwise, if it was purely gambling, the chances of being tricked would be the highest. Xia Xiaochan was not necessarily good at tricking people. She might go up and stab someone while she was talking. It was a bit risky. As it happened, Jiang Tong happened to be the one to take the bait. He was smart and should be able to cooperate with him. Jiang Tong asked, Are you sure you will win? Han Fei grinned and said, I'll do it in secret. You lead the crowd to bet that I will lose, and we'll bet that I will win. Deal. Jiang Tong reacted very quickly. How much do you bet that you will win? Han Fei said with a smile. Not a problem. 1 million or so. Wow. Jiang Tong immediately took a deep breath. Brother, you are so generous. Han Fei didn't seem to care. That's easy. Are you going to do it or not? Jiang Tong's lips curled. Okay, but you have to lend me 1 million first. If you want others to believe you, you have to fall into the trap first. Of course, Han Fei wasn't scared. He had hundreds of millions with him. What was there to be scared of? Immediately, Han Fei put a sea-swallowing seashell to Jiang Tong. 1 million. If it's not enough, you can ask her for more. Han Fei glanced at Xia Xiaochan and then smiled. What's your name? Jiang Tong. Han Fei snapped his fingers and waved 2 fingers in front of Jiang Tong's eyes. Jiang Tong, if you dare to trick me out of my money, I'll beat you to death. Han Fei left casually. Jiang Tong was a bit stunned. Why do I feel that I've heard this before? Something didn't seem right. Jiang Tong glanced at the sea, swallowing seashell in his hand. It was a real, mid-quality pearl. But he didn't have to be so deceptive, did he? Yes. Han Fei was not afraid that Jiang Tong would abscond with the money. Little White had already remembered his scent, not to mention that Xia Xiaochan had seen all this. Naturally, it was Xia Xiaochan's job to keep an eye on Jiang Tong. The Wind Thunder Arena had a magnificent layout. It was more than 100 meters high, and the dome was decorated with all kinds of big fish. The left side was the entrance to the inner field, the right side was the registration area, and the front was the betting area. Han Fei turned to the right side quickly. Many people were stunned. Who the hell is this guy? How could he become an advanced dangling fisher with such a sloppy attitude? Han Fei slapped the table and said, "I'll sign up." The staff was stunned. "Sir, what kind do you want to sign up for?" Han Fei was stunned. "How many kinds are there?" The staff member said, "In terms of types, we have 4 main categories. One is a solo competition, one is a team competition, one is a single person against a contractual spiritual beast, and one is a group of people against a contractual spiritual beast." Han Fei was stunned. "Do you have contractual spiritual beasts in the Wind Thunder Arena?" The staff said with a smile, "They're not contractual spiritual beasts without a contract." Han Fei narrowed his eyes and said, "Then what are the odds for me to fight an exotic contractual spiritual beast of my level?" The staff was briefly stunned. "Sir, your life will be in danger. You'll have to sign a life and death agreement before you can let the exotic creatures fight." Han Fei asked, "How many contractual spiritual beasts do you have here?" Staff member, "According to your level and above, there are nearly 30 of them." "Wow, so many?" The staff said with a smile. "So, how do you want to sign up?" Han Fei said, "Balabazer." The staff asked, "Do you need a name for yourself?" Han Fei's lips curled. Octopus Weirdo. Second update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 570. He accepted the registration. He had to wait in line, but Han Fei's registration was quite impressive. After a series of preliminary communication, the staff said that there was no need to wait. After the next 2 games, he could directly enter the arena. Han Fei held a small card in his hand and walked to the betting area. Han Fei slapped the card on the counter. "I'll bet," before Han Fei said anything. A staff member had interrupted him. "Sir, the walls have ears. Please send a voice transmission. In this way, no one will know." Han Fei was briefly stunned. "Oh, I'll bet on myself. 1,000,000. The staff member slightly shook his head. "Sir, the highest bet we have is 500,000 mid-quality pearls." How could 500,000 mid-quality pearls be enough? Han Fei was lost for words. Was there a limit? It seemed that the Wind Thunder Arena was very cunning. They were probably scared of people who played badminton games like him. If there were only 500,000 mid-quality pearls, they wouldn't have anything to be scared of. Even if someone played badminton games, they wouldn't suffer a loss. Also, Han Fei suspected that even if he chose to beat someone stronger than him, he could play the same trick once or twice. However, if he placed too many bets, the arena would probably break the balance. For example, the arena might bet on him to win to balance the odds. But even so, it would be the audience's money. Han Fei pondered and realized that opening an arena was quite profitable. If there was a chance in the future, should he open an arena too? Han Fei paid the money and was slightly confused. He didn't expect the arena to be so strict. If the bets had to be transmitted, the 1,000,000 that he gave Jiang Tong would be useless. He couldn't trick other people into betting on his loss. Why would he cooperate with him? It would be fine if this guy had a backup plan, but if he didn't, he might not be able to make a profit this time. Then, Han Fei saw Jiang Tong blinking at him. Han Fei was immediately relieved. This guy must have a backup plan. If Jiang Tong didn't have a problem, then the fancy way he signed up just now should work. Han Fei couldn't help but sigh. Next, he had to rely on his acting skills. On the other side, Jiang Tong and the others were thinking about how to place their bets. They didn't know that the rules of the Wind Thunder Arena were so perverted, but Jiang Tong was quite calm. After a glance at Han Fei, he said to his classmates, "Junior brothers, go back and call for reinforcements." "Ah," Jiang Tong said, 1,000 mid-quality pearls per person. Senior Marshal brother, don't worry. Wait a moment, I'll be right there. Then, Jiang Tong stood in the hall of the arena and was talking to a staff member. Jiang Tong asked, "How much does the most luxurious private room cost?" The staff said, "Sir, the VIP rooms here are not cheap. They cost 5,000 mid-quality pearls each. Of course, there will be professionals to serve you." Jiang Tong asked, "What about the slightly inferior private rooms?" The staff said, "Then it's only 2,000 mid-quality pearls." Jiang Tong's eyes moved. "Oh, it seems that there aren't many tycoons in Wind Thunder Town. The gap is actually so big." The staff politely replied, "Sir, the main reason is that there are very few top-class private rooms, only about 200 of them. It's not that expensive, but there are a lot of rich people." Jiang Tong said, "Give me a 2,000. "Yes, sir. Senior Marshal brother, you can't spend 2,000 mid-quality pearls on a private room, even if you're rich." Jiang Tong said, "You can only make money in the world of the rich. In the world of the poor, you can only make money. Junior Marshal brother, you still have a long way to go." "But, Senior Marshal brother, the amount of bets is limited." Jiang Tong said, "That's why I'm calling for help." As he spoke, Jiang Tong approached the mushroom-haired Xia Xiaochan in front of the waiter and gave her a look. Jiang Tong said, "Miss Fatty Chow is going to lose." Xia Xiaochan said, "That's impossible. Fatty Chow is one of the best people in the fiery dragon town." Jiang Tong said, "I have a top secret. Do you want to hear it?" Jiang Tong and Xia Xiaochan walked to the private room. There was a waiter leading the way, but Jiang Tong didn't shy away at all. The so-called top secret was openly revealed just like that. In such an arena that was designed for gambling, the walls really had ears. The eavesdroppers might not believe it once or twice, but they wouldn't believe it a third time. That would be awesome. Jiang Tong's scheme was so simple that it was appalling. It was just like stock trading. Undercover, secret exploration. All he needed was a casual conversation, and those who were supposed to fall into the trap would fall into the trap. Then an astonishing chain reaction would occur. Of course, Jiang Tong didn't expect this method to work. It all depended on the heavens. He had other methods. Xia Xiaochan asked telepathically, "Is 1,000,000 enough?" Jiang Tong shook his head slightly. "Not really." Xia Xiaochan secretly threw a sea-swallowing seashell at him. "Is it enough?" Seeing the sea-swallowing seashell that Xia Xiaochan gave, Jiang Tong gasped hard. Damn, 5,000,000 so easily? It was more than all his assets. Was he still human? Xia Xiaochan glanced at Jiang Tong. "If I give it to you, I could take it back. Little money, don't make a mistake." Jiang Tong grinned. They were two F***king arrogant. Two advanced, dangling fishers, one more arrogant than the other. However, Jiang Tong really liked making friends with such rich people, who could throw out 6,000,000 mid-quality pearls casually. About half an hour later, the two games in the field were over. Following that, the host could be heard shouting, screaming, and going crazy. Of the two hosts, the male host was shouting, "Attention everyone! Attention everyone! Attention everyone! The Wind Thunder Arena has received the craziest challenge of the year. An advanced dangling fisher has challenged Ming Kun, the king of 100 of the Wind Thunder Arena." The scene exploded in an instant, and many people cried out in surprise. Who? Did the host just say that an advanced dangling fisher wants to challenge Ming Kun? Is this guy crazy? Does he want to die by challenging Ming Kun, an advanced dangling fisher? I don't believe it. This guy is bound to lose. How long has it been since anyone dared to challenge Ming Kun? Ming Kun is an expert with a 100-game winning streak. Is this guy kidding me? In two different private rooms, Xia Xiaochan and Jiang Tong asked the waiter almost at the same time, "Who is Ming Kun?" The waiter replied, "Ming Kun is the king of 100 of the Wind Thunder Arena. He has a battle every day, and he's won 137 times in a row. Many people have challenged him, only to be defeated. However, it's been 32 days since anyone dared to challenge him." Jiang Tong's reaction was, "Oh, what's the odds?" The waiter said, "The host will announce it on the spot." Xia Xiaochan's reaction was, "What's special about that guy?" The waiter said, The intelligence of the Wind Thunder Arena costs pa. Xia Xiaochan threw a box out. Take whatever you want. The waiter immediately said, Ming Kun, a peak-level dangling fisher. His naturally endowed spiritual beast, the blue tide turtle, is known for its invincible defense. His contractual spiritual beast, the mad bloodworm, can multiply his combat ability. His second contractual spiritual beast, the three-eyed mantis shrimp, is unparalleled in speed. However, he himself is a body refiner. His pair of rushing thunder hands are incomparably powerful. When he makes a move, there will be an explosion of thunder. It can be said to be terrifying. The host in the field roared. This is the 33rd day of Ming Kuin's truce. He's applied to the Wind Thunder Arena many times, but nobody dared to challenge him. But today, someone has. Also, he's an advanced dangling fisher. Ladies and gentlemen, let's remember his name, Octopus Weirdo. Who's Octopus Weirdo? Who? I've never heard of him before. Where did this clown come from? He's definitely going to lose. It's impossible for him to make up a fancy name. The female host said, Our Octopus Weirdo comes from the distant fiery dragon town. He's said to be invincible in the fiery dragon arena. He can sweep away all his enemies within 100 meters with his iron fists. The male host continued, That's right. Our Octopus Weirdo is quite a character. He even said that he would give you a surprise if he won this time. Humph. Humph. What a surprise. The fiery dragon town is ranked 18th or 20th. Why is he bragging about it? The male host said, Next, let's welcome Octopus Weirdo. Let's welcome him. Xia Xiaochan and Jiang Tong saw Han Fei stumbling out of the contestants' aisle. As if to show his crazy nature, he didn't forget to roll up half of his arm. After he showed up, Han Fei waved at the audience. There were a lot of people in the Wind Thunder Arena today, mainly because the arena would be closed for the students from the 36 towns to compete. Therefore, in order to satisfy their cravings, a lot of people rushed in today. Humph, go back to your fiery dragon town. Octopus Weirdo, don't embarrass yourself. Octopus Weirdo, I'll bet 1 mid-quality pearl on you, and I'll bet 100 on Ming Kun. The female host's voice trembled as she said, Ladies and gentlemen, the current odds for this battle have been announced. Ming Kun, 1-1. 2. Octopus Weirdo, 110. Ladies and gentlemen, you have half an hour to place your bets. Please give Octopus Weirdo some confidence. Chances are that he's the one who creates miracles. What miracles? I don't believe in miracles. Humph. Miracles never come by themselves. Are you kidding me? I'll bet on Ming Kun. You can't throw money into the water however much you have. The third update. Asking for votes. More updates. End of this chapter. Chapter 571. Speaking of which, the entire Wind Thunder Arena had gone crazy. A lot of workers were selling tickets and collecting money. As long as they won, they could exchange their tickets for mid-quality pearls. It was simple and straightforward. I'll bet 1,000 on Ming Kun. I'll bet 2,000 on Ming Kun. I'll bet 100 on Octopus Weirdo. I'll bet 100 on Octopus Weirdo. But I'll bet 1,000 on Ming Kun. For a moment, the arena was filled with noises. Only those who were cautious would bet on both Ming Kun and Han Fei. Why? If they bet 1,000 on Ming Kun, they would earn 200 if they won. If they bet 100 on Han Fei, they would earn 900 if they really won. Even if they lost, they would still earn 100. In such a way, those who bet in such a way wouldn't lose either way. However, the big shots in the private rooms were different. Someone said, Where did this idiot come from? He's challenging Ming Kun? I'll bet 500,000 on Ming Kun. I'll bet 200,000 on Ming Kun. I'll bet 300,000 on Ming Kun. When it came to Xia Xiaochan, she simply threw out 500,000. I'll bet 500,000 on Octopus Weirdo. The waiter was stunned to hear that. Girl, are you sure you would bet 500,000 on Octopus Weirdo? The waiter felt that the guy was definitely not smart. 500,000 on Octopus Weirdo? Xia Xiaochan said with a smile. This Octopus Weirdo is interesting. Let's see if he wins. In the next room, Jiang Tong was mumbling. Did I make a mistake? Jiang Tong kept an eye on him. After hearing about Ming Kun's strength, He couldn't figure out how Deity could win. So he said, "I'll bet 500,000 on Ming Kuan." The waiter's eyes glittered. He didn't expect someone in the Poheo private room to be so generous. He smiled and said, "Okay, sir." Then Jiang Tong spoke to everybody telepathically, asked the other students to bet 5.5 million on Octopus Weirdo. However, Jiang Tong didn't use his own money. He was going to wait and see. If Han Fei's strength exceeded his expectations, he would have his own ways to remedy the situation. In the meantime, Jiang Tong was betting that if Deity won, he would earn 49.5 million. If Ming Kuan won, he would tell Deity that he bet all his money on Ming Kuan, and he would still have 600,000 yuan left. Speaking of which, it was quite a coincidence. No student would go to the arena of the Wind Thunder Town to play a game on the first day. They came to the Wind Thunder Town without being familiar with the place. Coincidentally, there were a lot of people today. Coincidentally, Han Fei picked a player that everyone thought he would definitely lose. When Han Fei came out, the audience gasped. At this moment, the host roared, "Next, let's welcome my king of 100 men, rushing thunder hand, battle madman. Ming Kuan, come on stage, oh. Ayo, Ming Kuan, Ming Kuan, Ming Kuan." The female supporter said, "Dear audience, please raise your hands and cheer for Ming Kuan and Octopus Weirdo. Will Ming Kuan secure his 138th consecutive victory, or will Octopus Weirdo break Ming Kuan's record? Let's wait and see." In the arena, Ming Kuan didn't take anything and just walked straight to the center. Han Fei smiled. As usual, he was jolting around like a chinibu. He played the part of a hooligan to the fullest. Ming Kuan looked strong and seemed to be at least 28, but Han Fei knew that he was only 17 this year. Ming Kuan's muscles were solid and explosive. His hands were brimming with spiritual energy, even though he wasn't moving. Han Fei only observed him for a moment and knew that he couldn't be weak. He had thought that all the experts were concentrated in the Thousand-Star City, but it seemed that he was wrong. A lot of experts were gathered in the Thousand-Star City, but not all of them. At the center of the arena, Ming Kuan turned his head hard, making cracking noises. "Advanced dangling fisher, what gives you the courage to challenge me?" Han Fei smiled casually. "Money. I should make a lot of money if I defeat you." Ming Kuan grinned. "Then you'll be disappointed." Han Fei said, "I'm not disappointed. I've already won the moment you showed up in this arena." Ming Kuan sneered. "I won't go easy on you even if you were just an advanced dangling fisher. Everybody has to pay the price for their choice." Han Fei said, "I'll go easy on you. After all, it's embarrassing to make money with your name." Ming Kuan humphed. The cursing session was over. At this moment, the male host's voice echoed, "Wow." The two of them seem to be preparing and can't wait any longer. Then, I announce that the competition officially begins. "Oh, Ming Kuan, slap him to death." Ming Kuan, finish the battle in 1 second. "Octopus Weirdo, you'd better lie down." Rumble, thunder rumbled. Ming Kuan took action. The moment he took action, thunder rumbled, and electric arcs surrounded Ming Kuan's palms. The palm covered in electric arcs had already reached Han Fei in the blink of an eye. Han Fei, on the other hand, was still smiling, and golden light was flashing on his fist. Boom! In the next moment, out of everybody's expectation, Ming Kuan and Han Fei were both flung back. Ming Kuan took almost 10 steps back in a row, leaving deep footprints on the ground. Han Fei took a dozen steps back, almost exactly the same as Ming Kuan. Instantly, someone exclaimed, "Shoot! An advanced dangling fisher can resist Ming Kuan's rolling thunder palm? Seriously? Is this Octopus Weirdo so strong? I should have bet more earlier." The host's eyes glittered. "Wow, our Octopus Weirdo deserves his reputation. He's truly invincible in the arena of the fiery dragon town." On the field, Ming Kuan frowned. Just now, he only used 50% of his strength, but it was still more than what a regular peak-level dangling fisher could do. No wonder this guy dared to challenge him. He was as strong as a peak-level dangling fisher. Han Fei, on the other hand, was confused. Is this king of 100 men from the Wind Thunder Town so weak? How can I pretend if he's so weak? It's very difficult to pretend. What if I accidentally kill him? Again, when Ming Kuan attacked again, his speed and strength were almost doubled. The speed of his palms was truly as fast as lightning. Han Fei's eyes glittered. So, this guy had been hiding his strength just now. Bam! 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 Electric arcs and golden light raged in the field, and the earth and stones on the ground were flying. The two of them were extremely fast. After only 5 seconds, they had exchanged almost 100 blows. Then they were blown back again. Ming Kuan and Han Fei were evenly matched again. Han Fei's hands were slightly shivering at this moment. As expected of the king of 100 men from the Wind Thunder arena, my fists are shaking uncontrollably. Shake. Han Fei even shook his fists symbolically. However, Ming Kuan's eyes were full of fanaticism. You've become an advanced, dangling fisher through body tempering, too? Han Fei twisted his neck. Do you think I was kidding when I said that I punched the 9 Heavens floating island and kicked the North Sea mantis shrimps? The audience in the field had gone crazy and were roaring crazily. Blood frenzy, blood frenzy, blood frenzy. Ming Kuan, kill this guy now. We all bet on you to win. Airwaves spread out from Ming Kuan's feet, and energy from the earth was poured into his fists. His eyes turned red, and he was already attached to the mad bloodworms. Not just the mad bloodworms. The phantom of the mantis shrimp enshrouded Ming Kuan's body. At the center of his eyebrows, a third eye appeared. Han Fei grinned. Good boy. You're indeed not weak. Han Fei was right. Ming Kuan was more than twice as strong. The mad bloodworms were violent, contractual spiritual beasts, and Han Fei couldn't be more familiar with a mantis shrimp. The 9-tailed mantis shrimp was so fast that even Han Fei couldn't see it clearly when it punched. However, how could the opponent's 3-eyed mantis shrimp compare to the 9-tailed mantis shrimp? Han Fei roared, "Come on, I'll show you my, well, golden invincible exploding fist." Pooh, Xia Xiaochan was drinking juice, but she burst into laughter when she heard Han Fei's roar. What golden invincible exploding fist? At this moment, she finally confirmed one thing, which was that Han Fei was really not talented at naming things. If she had children in the future, she would never let this guy name them. Suddenly, Xia Xiaochan blushed. Why did she think of children? The host roared, it's coming. Ming Kuan is about to explode. Can his blood frenzy ignite the name of the Wind Thunder town? Can he still dominate the Wind Thunder arena with his speed? Let's see how Octopus Weirdo deals with it. Han Fei, however, raised his eyes and said casually, attach. 4th update. More updates. Asking for votes. The author said, asking for monthly votes, recommendation votes, diamonds. Oh, I've been updating a lot every day anyway. Please, into this chapter. Chapter 572. It was the first time that Han Fei had fought with Little Fatty in front of so many people. Although the 9 death soul splitting octopus sounded awesome, it was nothing more than 2 light bulbs on Han Fei's shoulders after it was attached to him. It didn't look scary at all. As for the rest, there was nothing strange about it. It was no different from the possession of an ordinary contractual spiritual beast of an octopus. If Han Fei were attached to the 9-tailed mantis shrimp again, the tentacles would be gone and replaced by the 9-star chain. Xia Xiaochan was stunned to see the big octopus. Was it the 3rd contractual spiritual beast that Han Fei mentioned? A big octopus? Many people in the auditorium realized what was going on. Unfortunately, they couldn't tell whether it was a naturally endowed spiritual beast or a contractual spiritual beast. Han Fei made up his mind, and the shadow disappeared, leaving only the 2 light bulbs on his shoulders. At this moment, Han Fei had a 360-degree field of vision. It would be a great effect if he had 3 heads and 6 arms. Boom! After a thunderous explosion, Ming Kuan disappeared, and an electric arc fell on Han Fei in the blink of an eye. However, Han Fei wasn't a pushover. The features of the art of invincibility were confidence and ferocity. When the electric arc fell on Han Fei, it turned into a big hand. Han Fei roared and punched out at the same time as the electric arc beat him. Bam! Bam! Han Fei hadn't found a good opportunity in the arena. Ming Kuan was smashing the head with the mantis shrimp's unique skill. The three-eyed mantis shrimp didn't seem weak, and its tentacles were very fast. Han Fei found that he couldn't keep up with the majestic mystic spell anymore in terms of speed. At this moment, the two of them were bombarding each other, and Han Fei was being pushed back. He didn't use the majestic mystic spell. He needed to be beaten for a while so that the audience could see hope. That was the best part of his acting skills. Bam! Han Fei flew backward, his whole body stained with blood, and he was still vomiting blood. Great! Ming Kuan is invincible. That's it. Octopus Weirdo, you can't possibly win. The male host shouted excitedly. Is the winner about to be decided? In fact, Octopus Weirdo from the Fiery Dragon Town is really strong. He's the only one who can fight Ming Kuan in an arena. The female host, is there still a chance to turn things around? So far, we've only seen Octopus Weirdo using his naturally endowed spiritual beast. Where is his contractual spiritual beast? Does he still have any secret techniques? Han Fei struggled to his feet. As expected of the king of 100 men in the Wind Thunder arena, Ming Kuan's chest was heaving. Although he had been bombarding Han Fei all the way, he was really surprised by Han Fei's physique. After being bombarded by him so many times, he was only injured, and it wasn't even a serious injury. Ming Kuan's eyes were burning with passion. You're very strong. If it was someone else, you would have one. Unfortunately, you've encountered me, a me who has only displayed 70% of my full strength. Han Fei grinned. Oh, only 70%? I thought that you had displayed 120% of your strength. By the way, didn't you eat? The other party frowned. Han Fei twisted his head and said, You must not have eaten. Otherwise, how could your strength be so weak? Ming Kuan was furious. Again, Kula. 100 electric arcs were flashing, and hundreds of palms seemed to be pressing 10 meters around Han Fei. Every palm strike was ferocious and powerful. Hey, take this. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Yes, Han Fei had changed his name again, and he was roaring it. Bam, bam, bam. 100 golden fists were thrown in all directions. In the eyes of other people, Han Fei was so crazy that nobody could see his fists clearly. However, as ferocious as they were still no match for Ming Kuan's running thunder palm. In the host's words, Han Fei had unleashed a secret technique, but it wasn't enough. The gap between their levels was too huge, and Han Fei was about to be defeated. 10 seconds passed. Someone roared, Look, Han Fei is vomiting blood. He's about to be defeated. 20 seconds passed. Someone roared, Haha, he's finally going to be defeated. 30 seconds passed. Someone said excitedly, Look, Octopus Weirdo is vomiting blood again. 50 seconds passed. Damn it, are you done yet? Ming Kuan go. Slap him to death. Little brat, can you still take it? 100 seconds passed. Ming Kuan was appalled. He had almost run out of energy and could only rely on the blue tide turtle to resist. The golden fist shadow landed on the jade tide turtle, causing dust to fly everywhere. 200 seconds passed. Both of them were covered in wounds. Ming Kuan's blue tide armor was broken. Many of the audience members were stunned and stood up one by one. In their eyes, Ming Kuan couldn't take it anymore, but Octopus Weirdo was even worse. He couldn't even stand steadily anymore. The host was roaring crazily. Heavenly talent. Octopus Weirdo must be an unparalleled heavenly talent from the Fiery Dragon Town. Otherwise, he couldn't have lasted so long. Outside the stage, many people were recording and talking. Someone asked, Is there such a person from the Fiery Dragon Town who came this time? Someone was confused. I'll have someone look into it right away. In the private room, Jiang Tong took a deep breath too. Isn't this guy too stubborn? You were already on the verge of collapse 200 breaths ago. Why are you still on the verge of collapse now? Xia Xiaochan rolled her eyes now and then. She estimated that Han Fei's skin wasn't even broken. How would the blood come out? What Xia Xiaochan didn't know was that the 9-death soul-splitting octopus could offset 90% of attacks in the first place. Even after attaching it, it could still offset 50% of Han Fei's attacks. Therefore, it was impossible for Ming Kuan to hurt Han Fei. Ming Kuan panicked and thought to himself, it's impossible. How can I be defeated by an advanced dangling fisher? That's absolutely impossible. Then, Ming Kuan suddenly roared, take my last attack. 9 rumbling thunder. Seeing that Ming Kuan was about to launch his ultimate attack, Han Fei shouted, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Take my last attack, big fish. Well, what kind of punch is that? Pooh, cough, cough. Many people were lost for words. Have you forgotten what kind of punch you're good at? Isn't that too outrageous? It doesn't matter what kind of punch it is. At that moment, smoke and dust billowed, and the 2 figures were thrown out of the smoke and dust. Someone was lost for words. It's a tie. Damn it. Did anyone bet on a tie? We're screwed. We're screwed. How can this octopus weirdo be so strong? Is there such a tough guy in the fiery dragon town? Damn it. The arena tricked us. For a moment, everybody in the auditorium was yelling. Xia Xiaochan pretended to exclaim, he won. Xia Xiaochan's maid was dumbfounded too. If Octopus Weirdo got back to his feet, wouldn't the girl have earned 5 million with the 500,000? Jiang Tong was so excited that he roared, get up, get up, get up now. Jiang Tong almost went crazy. He had just won 50 million. His heart couldn't take it anymore. Cough, cough. On the arena, Han Fei suddenly stretched out a hand and then propped himself up with great difficulty. The audience was calling for Ming Kuan crazily, but the guy didn't respond at all. Han Fei secretly sneered. The same attack, and he was slapped by Little Fatty 9 times in a row. It would be a miracle if he could still get back to his feet. The host was so shocked that he didn't come back to himself until a long time later. If Ming Kuan doesn't get back to his feet in 3 seconds, his winning streak will be ended. 3, 2, 1, ho. Congratulations to Octopus Weirdo from the Fiery Dragon Town. This victory was astonishing and epic. It was the rise of a shining new star. You told us that there's always someone better than you out there. Clatter, throw, throw, throw. In the sky, a bunch of messy things were smashed into the arena. Han Fei even saw a bra fly over. My money. My money. Everybody was wailing. However, there were also a few who were so excited that their bodies were trembling. I'm rich. I'm rich. I bet on it randomly. I made a huge fortune. Some of the people in the private rooms, on the other hand, were feeling sorry, but they weren't heartbroken. Someone even asked, who exactly is this octopus weirdo? Go and check what kind of past achievements this person from Fiery Dragon Town has. Jiang Tong burst into tears. He was really crying. He had never seen so much money in his entire life. Even if he took out all his battle suits and spiritual weapons, he wouldn't be worth more than 10 million, but this man had earned 50 million. What did that mean? Unfortunately, he could only get 20% of the 50 million. When Han Fei left, he raised 2 fingers at him, but he didn't think much of it. Now that he thought about it, Han Fei probably meant to give him 20%, but even 20% was still 10 million mid-quality pearls. Jiang Tong was stunned. What the hell was I thinking? 10 million wasn't enough? That was 10 million. While Jiang Tong was stunned, Han Fei rose and looked at the auditorium before he said in disdain, I've booked this place today. I'll accept anyone who's of the same level or higher. The heavenly talents of the Wind Thunder Town are just SOSO. I can beat 10 of them with one hand. Shoot, Jiang Tong was stunned. Have you lost your mind because of the beating? Then, Han Fei said, I'm going to bet 500,000 on myself. Is there anyone else? If not, I'll call again after I take a break. First update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 573. The Wind Thunder Arena was in an uproar. Many people were blushing in fury and cursing aloud. Son of AB *TCH from the Fiery Dragon Town. Stay here if you dare. Son of AB *TCH, Octopus Monster. You said that yourself. Don't run away. I'm going to sign up and beat him up. Me too. I'm going to. You can't. I'm already at the peak, and he's at the end of his rope. I can kill him with one hand. In the crowd, Han Fei had no idea how many people had come to the Wind Thunder Arena. Many students had just confirmed their residences and arrived. Those students had only come to familiarize themselves with the environment. They didn't expect to see such a battle at all. In the crowd, a few people looked at each other in bewilderment. Zhang Xuanyu said, "Is he right?" "Definitely." Lu Kwang nodded. "He must be. That golden fist mark and that familiar taunt. He's the only one who can do that." Luo Xiaobai said, "Go and bet one. 5 million. On the other side, Xiao Wushuang remarked with mixed feelings, "Is this the strength of a top dangling fisher? I can't even take one hit from him." Xiangnan scoffed. "Of course you can't. You can't even take a breath from him." He Xiaoyu suddenly said, "Don't you think that guy looks a bit like Han Fei?" Xiao Wushuang simply denied it. "That's impossible. I'm told that Han Fei's second contractual spiritual beast has wings. This guy is an octopus monster. How can he be Han Fei? He looks different too." He Xiaoyu added, "I'm told that there are powerful disguises that can turn oneself into someone else." Xiang Nin shook his head. "That's impossible. That thing is too precious. Also, it has to be of a high level in order to fool other people. Otherwise, the experts will be able to recognize you after only one glance." He Xiaoyu pondered for a moment. "I want to bet on this octopus weirdo." "Pooh." Xiang Nin was lost for words. "Are you crazy? Look, this octopus weirdo has been beaten silly. Didn't you hear that he challenged all the heavenly talents of the Wind Thunder Town? Look at him. He can't even stand properly. He's seizing all the time he has to recover. But how can he recover in such a short time after such a battle?" Xiao Wushuang also said, "That's right. Although Han Fei also uses fists, we've all seen it. I believe that he could have smashed that guy into pieces with just one punch. Why do you have to beat him up like this? He can't be Han Fei." He Xiaoyu shook her head. "Anyway, I just feel that he's strong. I'm going to bet on him to make money." Apart from He Xiaoyu and the others, people from the Fiery Dragon Town came too. However, at this moment, these people were dumbfounded. Wait, since when did this octopus weirdo appear in the Fiery Dragon Town? Or an advanced dangling fisher? Why didn't we know about it? Oh no, someone is pretending to be from the Fiery Dragon Town. In the end, as soon as these people finished speaking, they saw that the side suddenly became quiet. Sure, a small fry from the Fiery Dragon Town dared to come to the audience seats to watch? Brothers, beat him up. You've misunderstood. That octopus is not from our Fiery Dragon Town. Are you implying that the Wind Thunder Arena made a mistake? Don't listen to this brat's nonsense. Beat him up. The second game came sooner than expected. The moment the male host received the message, he roared, "Dear audience, the show is about to continue. You will never guess who it is that has come. Faced with Octopus Weirdo's challenge, Jing Chongfeng, the strongest dangling fisher in the past, has come." The male host was infuriated too. The Fiery Dragon Town is too arrogant. If you win, you win. We'll give you honor. It's not like the Wind Thunder Town can't afford to lose. But you're blatantly provoking us. That's outrageous. If I don't beat the crap out of you today, I won't be a host anymore. The Hall of the Wind Thunder Arena was already a mess. They were all people who were going to register. The hall was completely blocked. There were few people at the ticket exchange office. It was mainly because too many people had bet on Ming Kuan to win, and only a few had bet on Han Fei. Of course, there were always people who wanted to win big, but few of them had the courage and money to do so. This time, although the Wind Thunder Arena had lost 80 million, it had earned much more than that. It had earned almost 800 million. It was because too many people had bet on Ming Kuan to win. This time, Jing Chongfeng's appearance shocked a lot of people. Jing Chongfeng's combat techniques were truly horrifying. He had challenged a peak-level dangling fisher as an advanced dangling fisher and won. Also, he had won more than once. He had won 38 times in a row and didn't lose until the 39th time. When Jing Chongfeng became a peak-level dangling fisher, he had only fought 3 times. The 3 battles lasted only 3 seconds, and nobody dared to fight him anymore. At this moment, many people sat down quietly again after Jing Chongfeng took action. However, considering that Han Fei wasn't weak and that the Fiery Dragon Town couldn't raise such a talent, the arena had sent someone to investigate him. However, the audience was too loud, and they had to start the game before the investigation. As for the odds, Jing Chongfeng's odds were 1 to 5. Han Fei's odds were 8 to 1. The arena made a balance, lowering Han Fei's odds and raising Jing Chongfeng's odds. In this way, even if Han Fei won again, the arena wouldn't suffer a loss considering how furious the audience was. In the arena, the host shouted, "There's a man at the peak of the invincible realm. There's a man who defeated 3 strong enemies in 3 seconds. There's a man who treats cross-level challenges like eating and drinking. He is Jing Chongfeng. Let's give him a round of applause and welcome him." Huh? Jing Chongfeng, Jing Chongfeng, Chongfeng, I love you. Jing Chongfeng, kill this guy. In the private room, Jiang Tong was thrilled. This time, he bet everything he had. He bet the 50 million he had just earned and half of his net worth. Why half? In fact, he wasn't sure if Han Fei could win all the time, as he said. After all, judging from the current situation, Han Fei's combat ability seemed to be declining sharply. But why did Jiang Tong still bet? The main reason was that he always had an illusion in his heart, as if he had seen this person somewhere, which gave him an inexplicable sense of familiarity. However, this sense of familiarity told him that he had to trust this person. It was exactly this feeling that made Jiang Tong's brain cramp. He took out a small card and threw it to an inconspicuous person in the crowd. Jiang Tong was not a small figure. He was worth millions of yuan, mostly because he sold his own supplies. He had a group of people in the Wind Thunder Town, about 50 of them, who specialized in selling accessories and other things for him. At the same time, Jiang Tong asked another classmate to go to the Wan Jinyu town for help. He had studied in the Wan Jinyu town. Why did he go to the Wan Jinyu town? Because the Wan Jinyu town, as its name suggested, was a trade paradise. There were many ways to do business there. He went there to learn how to make money and made a group of friends there. Jiang Tong was shocked by the 58 million yuan. When did I become so *King bold? Am I crazy to spend so much money? Luo Xiaobai and the others, on the other hand, were having a discussion. Zhang Xuanyu said, "The upper limit is 500,000 yuan. He can't make much money. Why bother acting?" Lu Rinquang suggested, "Why don't I go to our classmates in the Blue Sea town for help?" Zhang Xuanyu cursed. "Are you stupid? The people in our town have either been beaten by us, cheated by us, or are all hostile to us. Who would be willing to help us?" Luo Xiaobai nodded. "Of course. Go and ask them now. Give them some money." Zhang Xuanyu asked, No. Luo Xiaobai said, "You underestimate the power of mid-quality pearls. Although we seem to be very rich, how many people in the Blue Sea town are as rich as Han Fei and Xiaochan?" Zhang Xuanyu nodded. "Then you stay here. I'll go get them." Jing Chongfeng was very handsome. He had long, flowing hair and even looked a bit devilish. Different from Zhang Xuanyu's pure handsomeness, Zhang Xuanyu was a soul warrior and very masculine. Jing Chongfeng was a demon and an armorist. He wore white clothes and looked like a girl. Looking at Han Fei, who was still sitting cross-legged, Jing Chongfeng put on an evil smile. "You won't be able to make it no matter how hard you recover." Han Fei opened his eyes and sneered. "Pretty boy, you look very arrogant. What, do you think I can't fight just because I'm injured?" Jing Chongfeng pursed his lips and smiled casually. "Don't body cultivators like to turn the tables in desperate situations? You're quite an interesting person, a little rash. Do you know how many people are behind me?" Han Fei stood up and laughed. "I don't care how many people he has. Today, I'm going to be invincible and dominate the Wind Thunder Arena." Immediately, there was a lot of cursing in the auditorium. Someone roared, "Son of a b***, how can you be so arrogant? Do you know that you can't be handsome for more than 3 seconds?" Someone shouted at the host, "Let's start. What are you waiting for?" "I'm still waiting to win back my money." Someone secretly placed a bet on Han Fei, wondering if it would help at this moment. They only hoped that Han Fei would try his best. After all, if he could defeat Ming Kuan, it would be possible for him to kill Jing Chongfeng. Seeing that Jing Chongfeng and Han Fei were done, the host immediately roared, "Now, let's see whether Jing Chongfeng's Ghost God chains or Octopus Weirdo's ocean-shaking fists are more powerful. Let the game begin." Second update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 574. Jing Chongfeng put down his armor box. But when the armor box moved, what came out was neither a knife, a sword, nor a shield. Inside, countless chains stretched out, just like Luo Xiaobai's vines. As soon as they popped out, there were chains everywhere. These chains spurted out crazily, some inserted into the ground, and some hung high in the sky. But in the blink of an eye, Han Fei was surrounded by these chains with no blind spots. Bam! Bam! The ground exploded, and a huge number of chains broke out of the ground and clasped at Han Fei. Take 100 punches from me first. Golden fist marks spurted out like energy bullets, but to Han Fei's surprise, was an array? Jing Chongfeng smiled. It's useless. I can't think of any reason why you can get out of my array. Han Fei's fist marks actually worked when they fell in the Ghost God formation. Han Fei noticed that, but this array seemed to have the ability to deflect the force. Therefore, unless he carried out the art of invincibility to the extreme, he might not be able to break through it. However, how could Han Fei expose the real power of the art of invincibility here? Han Fei's figure twisted and turned in the multiple chains. His speed was so fast, and his dodging skills were so ingenious that many people were dumbfounded. Among them, the most shocked was He Xiaoyu, who was sitting with Xiao Wushuang and the others. He Xiaoyu couldn't be more familiar with his footwork. Who else could it be if not Han Fei? That person was definitely Han Fei. At this moment, He Xiaoyu regretted it. He had only bet 3,000 mid-grade spirit stones earlier. To her, this was already a very large number. Even though she had wandered in the level 2 fishery for a long time, she had no more than 50,000 spiritual stones in total, which was not even enough to buy a low-quality spiritual weapon. However, if she could clearly recognize that the man was Han Fei just now, she wouldn't hesitate to bet all the 50,000 mid-quality pearls she had on her. In the auditorium, Lu Renquang was holding his chin with his hand. So, he has a third contractual spiritual beast. Why does he have a third contractual spiritual beast? Luo Xiaobai nodded. Maybe it's because of his special constitution? Lu Renquang sighed. Why don't I have such a special constitution? Also, this octopus doesn't look weak. Little Fatty's shadow appeared in the field. Its majestic eyes and millstone-like suckers sucked dozens of chains of ghosts and gods. The terrifying power was transmitted to Jing Chongfeng from the Ghost God chain, and the latter's expression changed again and again. How is this possible? How could the power of the Ghost God chain be controlled by a contractual spiritual beast? Bang! The tentacles of the octopus completely opened up and began to pull on the Ghost God chain. Although the ghostly God chains came from all directions and wrapped around the tentacles, the ground was cracking, and the chains that bound the tentacles couldn't move at all. Instead, they were all sucked in by the terrifying suction cups. Han Fei grinned. Hey, Gigolo, do you want me to teach you how to spin in circles? Buzz! As little Fatty waved its tentacles, countless chains were rolled up and began to spin on the spot. Anyway, Han Fei was wrapped in the Ghost God chain, which swirled like a hurricane and dragged Jing Chongfeng's armor box away. Jing Chongfeng was greatly shocked. Soul explosion. A frightening soul attack spread across the chains, causing them to vibrate with a dang-dang sound. The host exclaimed, "It's a soul explosion. It's impossible for a body practitioner to resist such a terrifying soul explosion. Octopus Weirdo is about to. How is it possible?" Jing Chongfeng was shocked too. Not only did the storm of chains not stop, but it was also twice as fast and still moving faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, a storm of chains hundreds of square meters was formed and surged at Jing Chongfeng. Han Fei was still spinning in the middle of the chains, thinking to himself, it's all thanks to little Fatty's characteristics. The 9-death soul-splitting octopus had a high spiritual power and could ignore the mental attacks of all creatures within 10 levels higher than itself. Otherwise, he would have bled from his eyes, ears, nostrils, and ears when the terrifying mental blast just now hit him. But right now, he couldn't even slow it down, let alone bleeding. Soul interception. The chain suddenly emitted dense knife lights, like countless sharp chain knives, trying to cut Han Fei's spiritual beast into pieces. However, Jing Changfeng was desperate again. The chains that were attached to the tentacles couldn't move at all. Even though the chains had turned into knives, they still wouldn't listen to him. Many people in the auditorium were dumbfounded. Jing Changfeng, why don't you just do it? Jing Changfeng, just do it. Can you not look at him? Hey, you're not rigging the match, are you? Jing Changfeng, I'm going to complain about you. Is there something wrong with your head? Are you giving weapons to him? For a time, curses filled the air. Many people said that Jing Changfeng was much worse than Ming Kuan for fame. Look at Ming Kuan. He didn't collapse until Han Fei's face was swollen and heavily wounded. You, on the other hand, surrounded octopus weirdo with chains the moment you arrived. As it turned out, none of the people who saw Han Fei at the beginning of the match showed up. Jing Changfeng kept fleeing. His weapon had become someone else's. What else could he do? Eventually, Jing Changfeng gritted his teeth and resorted to his ultimate move. BM, BM, BM. The ground cracked again, and a lot of vines popped up from underground. Han Fei was stunned. Is he a F***king manipulator? After discovering that Jing Changfeng was a manipulator, Han Fei simply controlled the tentacles and threw the ghost god chains at Jing Changfeng one by one. Seeing that the chains were back, Jing Changfeng naturally retrieved them. In the end, the chains covered the sky and covered the earth as they flew toward him. And he sensed that Han Fei had taken out a chain out of nowhere. More importantly, he didn't know where the chain came from. It was even attached to a dark wall. Han Fei showed up. The audience exclaimed in shock. He's out, but why is he covered in blood? Could it be that Jing Changfeng's god spike worked? But what's that thing in his hand? He looks like a lunatic. Oh no, oh no. He looks very fierce. Jing Changfeng, give him more power. Let's go. The chain in Han Fei's hand was taken from the prison in the undersea city. At that time, he couldn't cut it at all. In the end, he tore it down with the chain. At this moment, the chain more than 10 meters long was swung like a wheel of fire. Even Han Fei himself didn't know how many kilograms of terrifying force was on the chain. Swish! Han Fei loosened his grip, and the chain attached to the wall was thrown to Jing Changfeng in an instant. The latter raised the ghost god chain, trying to resist it. In the end, with a bang, the formation that had not yet been formed was smashed apart in one fell swoop. Jing Changfeng was hit in the stomach and chest by the black stone and was sent flying, blood spurting out of his mouth. Those who hadn't experienced it had no idea how heavy it was. Jing Changfeng, who had been handsome a moment ago, was like a bowing shrimp at this moment, feeling that his intestines were about to be smashed out. After Jing Changfeng rolled hundreds of meters on the ground, he passed out. Han Fei lifted the chain under his feet and pulled hard. When the black stone fell beside his feet, the ground shook. Han Fei raised his head and looked at the audience. An armorist doesn't look like an armorist at all. He's no different from garbage in front of absolute strength. Is this the heavenly talent of the Wind Thunder Town? He's invincible? Invincible my ass. Damn it. You damn octopus, what are you talking about? Say it again, if you dare. Asshole, I'm going to kill you. Jing Changfeng is a bastard. He's useless. He's much weaker than Ming Kuan. Clang. Jiang Tong sat on the ground, stunned. He couldn't think straight. Almost 500 million. Almost 500 million. He had never seen so much money in his life. Many of the audience were stunned too. Some even cried. My money. Why did I believe that an armorist and a manipulator who didn't practice body arts could defeat a maniac? Suddenly, someone said, wait, is this octopus weirdo really an advanced dangling fisher? Why don't I think so? Someone roared, I doubt it. Someone was lost for words. Why the hell are you doubting him? Are you blind? Can't you tell that he's an advanced dangling fisher? Many people were dumbfounded by the battle. Where did the money go? The staff of the Wind Thunder Arena took action too. Someone roared, who the hell let this thing in? There's no such person in the entire Fiery Dragon Town. Ban him. Hurry up and F***king ban him. A bearded, middle-aged man pointed at a bunch of staff and cursed. Theoretically speaking, the arena didn't lose money in the two matches and even made some profits. However, in the second match, the arena would have to spend almost 600 million. What did that mean? It meant that if Han Fei's odds were as high as before, the Wind Thunder arena might have been crushed by him in just one time. A staff asked, but this octopus weirdo is going to fight the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. Should we ban him too? Of course not. Wait a moment. What is he going to fight? The staff swallowed and said, he chose the ghost-eyed giant crocodile when he chose his opponent. The bearded man was stunned. Are you talking about the ghost-eyed giant crocodile that we suppressed at the bottom of the arena and hasn't come out for 8 years? The staff nodded. Yes, that's right. Boss, are we still going to ban him? The bearded man waved his hand. Release the thunder smoke later. The third update. Asking for votes. More updates. Into this chapter. Chapter 575. Zhang Xuanyu returned with more than 80 girls and marched to the Wind Thunder Arena aggressively. Why were they all girls? It was because Zhang Xuanyu wasn't popular with men, but he was popular with women. Nobody played with him except the girls. None of the boys bothered to talk to him. Before they arrived, Zhang Xuanyu had already paid them one by one. He also reminded them, don't ask or say anything when you get there. Just bet on a guy named Octopus Weirdo. He'll win for sure. Everybody will get 20% of the profit. Before Zhang Xuanyu and the others entered, they saw lightning flashing in the sky, and white smoke that looked like vortexes was swirling in the sky. Brother Yu, what's that? Zhang Xuanyu didn't know either. However, people were crowding to the Wind Thunder Arena from all directions. Based on that alone, Zhang Xuanyu knew that something big had happened in the arena. Zhang Xuanyu said, everybody disperse. Remember to bet. Just bet as much as you have. You'll never lose anything. Then, Zhang Xuanyu quickly dived into the crowd. Someone in the crowd shouted, make way, make way. Why are you squeezing? I was pushed into the air. What's going on in the Wind Thunder Arena today? Who's fighting whom? Why is there even a thunder smoke? Does anyone remember the last time there was a thunder smoke? 3 years ago. Someone roared, who cares who's fighting whom? Just push inside. Zhang Xuanyu was dumbfounded. He had only been out for a while. What was going on? Why was it so crowded? In the outside world, many people were looking at the Wind Thunder Arena. Someone was lost for words. Hee, what a bunch of idiots. They must have organized a big match because the arena couldn't be used anytime soon. Someone said, Old Wong, do you want to take a look at the arena? No, it's impossible for anybody to squeeze in after the thunder smoke is released. You might be trampled to death inside. According to the news from the Wind Thunder Arena and the major academies, an unbelievably tough expert had appeared in the fiery Dragon Town and ended Ming Kuan's 137 consecutive victories, killing Jing Chongfeng, the heavenly talent. Some students expressed their disdain. We'll get the news soon anyway. I really can't take it anymore. The arena is too crowded after the thunder smoke. A teacher scolded, girls stay in school quietly. You're not allowed to go. Based on their experience, the Wind Thunder Arena must be overcrowded at this moment. Girls squeezed in the crowd were extremely easy to be molested. As for Zhang Xuanyu, he only cared about bringing them here. Who cared about who was molested by whom? As a matter of fact, the halls, corridors, and ordinary areas of the arena were already packed with people. The girls of the Blue Sea Town were rather smart. The group directly booked several private rooms on the top floor. Fortunately, they were not squeezed in the crowd. Someone asked, Senior sister, is that octopus weirdo in the field? Seems like it, but we don't seem to know each other. Why did Zhang Xuanyu bet on that person? Someone made a bet. That person must know Zhang Xuanyu and the other 4. Otherwise, why would he give us 500,000 mid-quality pearls each? Gosh, is the Thug Academy all so rich? Someone was lost for words. Although the fish dragons are theirs, they've never made so much money. All kinds of discussions and noises almost filled the entire Wind Thunder Arena. The host roared, attention everyone! Attention everyone! Today will be a day that will be remembered in history. Today, someone will challenge the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. Yes, it's the terrifying creature that's buried in the Wind Thunder Arena. It's been 8 years, and nobody has dared to challenge it. But today, this person has shown up. He's Octopus Weirdo. What? What ghost-eyed giant crocodile? Shoot, Is it that thing? Shoot. Is this guy crazy? Does he want to die? Someone asked. What's a ghost-eyed giant crocodile? Someone remarked, that's the dominating beast of the Wind Thunder Arena. It started 8 years ago. The owner of the Wind Thunder Arena captured it from an unknown ocean. It said that its eyes can petrify people. Someone interjected, not just that. It said that the ghost-eyed giant crocodile is so strong that even a hanging fisher can't resist one of its tails. Someone added, also, it said that the ghost-eyed giant crocodile has scales that look like black crystal armor. Not even high-quality spiritual weapons can pierce through it, and not even ultra-quality spiritual weapons can hurt it. Many people who were bragging about the ghost-eyed giant crocodile turned around and started bragging to other people. For a moment, everybody was talking about the ghost-eyed giant crocodile as if it were a miracle. At this moment, Han Fei was sitting cross-legged to recover as if he were seriously wounded. Out of the blue, he even vomited a mouthful of blood, causing many newcomers to be surprised. Someone was lost for words. This guy wants to fight the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. Can he do it or not? Someone said, this guy has defeated Ming Kuan and Jing Chongfeng in a row. I admit that he is a heavenly talent, but he can't defeat the ghost-eyed giant crocodile, can he? Someone nodded. He can't. Even Ming Kuan and Jing Chongfeng don't dare to challenge the ghost-eyed giant crocodile, who would be able to withstand a single swing of its tail that could collapse mountains and crack rocks. In this huge arena, there was a group of people dressed in plain clothes. Some of them had even invited their good friends to come. But these people were promoting the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's power and belittling Han Fei's current combat ability. In the private room, Jiang Tong murmured, I've done enough this time. I deserve to take the 20%. No one else has the ability to do so except me. But you have to win. If you lose, Jiang Tong didn't even dare to think about it. If Han Fei lost, he would suffer a huge loss. He was afraid that he couldn't take the blow and would jump off the floating island of the Wind Thunder Town. On the field, Han Fei was perceiving. His perception, the direction of his perception was not in all directions, but underground. However, what made him speechless was that he could only perceive a seal, but not inside it. Originally, he wanted to trick a large number of people to challenge him and squeeze all their money out of them. Little did he expect that no one would come when he was so heavily wounded. It could be seen how timid these people were. Han Fei didn't know that it was not that no one came, but that the arena itself forbade anyone to challenge Han Fei. Originally, the arena was prepared to chase him away. Little did he expect that he would pick the ghost-eyed giant crocodile when he was choosing a target. Han Fei spoke to little Fatty in his heart. Old man, do you think you could defeat the ghost-eyed giant crocodile? Yes. Little Fatty hummed at Han Fei and didn't seem to want to talk to Han Fei. Han Fei was speechless. This was definitely an incompetent, contractual, spiritual beast. If it were any other master, he would have slapped it. In fact, Han Fei chose the ghost-eyed giant crocodile mainly because he had decided to let little Fatty fight. Although little Fatty was arrogant, it was definitely an abnormally tough, contractual, spiritual beast. It wasn't as versatile as the nine-tailed mantis shrimp or as fast as Little Gold. However, Little Fatty was so strong that it could ignore mental attacks within 10 levels. Also, its suckers could absorb the enemy's spiritual energy, and essence blood for that alone. Han Fei wasn't afraid of the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. However, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile seemed to have an ability to petrify people. Han Fei had to think carefully. Could a spiritual energy protective cover resist it? Could an ultra-quality spiritual weapon resist it? Could the water control technique resist it? If it didn't work out, he could always cover himself with a shield, right? In the worst case, Han Fei planned to let little Fatty stand in front of him. Anyway, this guy wasn't afraid of death. No matter how powerful the weird power that could turn people into stone was, could it petrify little Fatty? Little Fatty's mental strength was off the charts, and it was immortal 9 times. Unless it was a hidden fisher, even a peak-level hanging fisher wouldn't be able to kill it. After all, the ability to deflect 90% of the attack was no joke. Duong. In the arena, A gate that had been sealed for a long time was opened. The ground was already shaking when the gate was only half opened. Crack, crack, crack. When a huge stone gate was opened, a prehistoric crocodile that was nearly 50 meters long appeared in everyone's sight. Even Han Fei couldn't help but stand up when he saw it. At this moment, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's eyes were covered with a black veil. Its teeth were all exposed, and there were dozens of them, especially on the two sides. The teeth on the two sides were several meters long. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile's limbs were very powerful, with fingernails that were several meters long. When it pressed on the ground, it left a footprint. Everybody gasped. This thing looked horrifying. Han Fei was like an ant in front of it. How could he beat it? Someone was lost for words. Damn it, how can he beat it? Jiang Tong almost fell off the private room. How the hell did you pick your opponent? How dare you pick such a thing? Around the arena, hundreds of people were setting up a race. Soon, a light curtain covered the arena. The host hid behind a table and roared. Oh my God! Do you feel the fear from the bottom of your heart after the appearance of the giant crocodile? Please wait a moment. Our staff is perfecting the defense barriers to avoid accidental injuries. Something popped up in Han Fei's eyes. Fourth update. Asking for votes. The author said, asking for votes. Those who still think it's too little, I've already stopped updating. My eyes have been sore recently. It's not easy to update every day. The story has to be done slowly. Don't panic. End of this chapter. Chapter 576. Data popped up in Han Fei's eyes. Name: Ghost-Eyed Giant Crocodile. Introduction: an ancient primeval alien that carries primeval power. It's irritable and likes peace. It has the eyes of petrification, which can instantly petrify any creature below level 10. When it's infuriated, it can spit out destructive gales that can cut off a person's skin and bones. Level 49, quality, legendary, spiritual energy greater than 7,705 points. Effect: it can strengthen your body if it's eaten over a long period of time. Collectible: Eyes of Petrification, absorbable. Note: its current strength is at least 5 million kilograms. It's an adult with extraordinary intelligence. Han Fei gasped hard when he saw the data. Damn it! How dare this damn arena fool me? When he picked it, it clearly said that it was a level 47 exotic creature. But now, you're telling me that it's a level 49 legendary creature? How am I supposed to fight it? Little Fatty was only level 38. No matter how awesome it was, how could it kill a level 49 legendary creature? It was an existence that was 11 levels higher than Little Fatty, which was even more resistant than Little Fatty could be. Also, what was the power of 5 million kilograms? If 1/10 of it hit him, it would be 500,000 kilograms, but he could only deflect half of the force even though he had fused with Little Fatty. Wouldn't it be able to smash him into a pancake with one slap? Han Fei swallowed. What would it feel like to be hit by a force of 2,500 tons? He would be blown into atoms, wouldn't he? Even if he used the majestic mystic spell and the sacrificing punch, he wouldn't be able to withstand 1,000,000 kilograms in total. Just like that, when Han Fei was fighting a hanging fisher in his peak state, he was still able to exchange blows with a peak-level hanging fisher. Although they were both level 49, peak-level hanging fishers were nothing in front of it. Han Fei estimated that the ghost-eyed giant crocodile could kill 5 peak-level hanging fishers with a single tail. The host roared excitedly. Did you see that? This is the ghost-eyed giant crocodile, a level 47 exotic creature with terrifying strength. Even peak-level hanging fishers would at most be on par with it. However, our octopus weirdo is going to challenge the ghost-eyed giant crocodile as an advanced dangling fisher today. His dedication is commendable. I hereby announce that the odds for this challenge are: the ghost-eyed giant crocodile, 1-1. 1 octopus weirdo, 1-5. However, as soon as the host finished speaking, someone immediately said angrily, "Is there a hole in your brain? 1-5? How the F***ck did you say that?" The host received news that someone had already bet almost 600 million on Octopus Weirdo before he even announced the odds to the public. It was obvious that someone was betting on Octopus Weirdo which meant that they had high hopes for him. At this moment, they naturally had to lower the odds of the ghost, giant crocodile, and octopus weirdo. However, as soon as he said that, someone threw something at him. Among them, Jiang Tong threw the most stones. The game is unfair. We protest. Why should it be 1 to 5? The compensation rate is at least 10 to 1. Yes, 1 to 10. Asshole, do you think octopus weirdo can win? The host was not bothered at all. He simply shouted, "Everyone, please trust the Wind Thunder Arena. We will observe the challenge objectively, fairly, and strictly." Many of our analysts have analyzed Octopus Weirdo's strength and found that he can even be a hanging fisher at his peak. So, our odds are not a problem. Xia Xiaochan's eyes turned cold, and she glanced behind her. She was thinking of killing the waiter, pretending to be him, and then killing the host in the arena. Luo Xiaobai frowned and considered how to stop the challenge. Luren Kuang shuddered. Who can possibly stop him? I believe that Han Fei is strong, but the problem is that this ghost giant crocodile is beyond theoretical limits, isn't it? Wait a moment. A roar burst out of the arena. Han Fei pointed at the host with a ferocious look. The host said, "Octopus weirdo, what do you want to say? The game is about to begin. If you admit defeat, you'll have to pay compensation." Han Fei roared. "I suspect that the Wind Thunder Arena is cheating. This ghost, giant crocodile, is definitely not an exotic creature, but a legendary one. Also, I don't think this ghost, giant crocodile, is just level 47. I think it's level 49. Everybody in the arena whispered to each other. The host said with a smile, "Octopus weirdo, the Wind Thunder Arena has always been fair and just. This ghost, giant crocodile, has been confirmed by many hidden fishers. It's indeed an exotic creature and a level 47-1. If you want to quit, please don't frame the Wind Thunder Arena with such an excuse." The host sneered. "You're the one who played the game with the Wind Thunder Arena first. Come on, let's see who's scared of whom." Han Fei said, "Do you dare to make a bet with me in the Wind Thunder Arena? What will you do if this ghost, giant crocodile, is not a level 47 creature?" The host was about to speak when a bearded man said, Everyone, listen to me. I'm the manager of the Wind Thunder Arena, and I'm fully responsible for everything in the Wind Thunder Arena. I can assure you that this ghost giant crocodile is indeed a level 47 exotic creature." Han Fei sneered. "We're to no proof. Do you dare to make a bet?" The bearded man smiled. "The Wind Thunder Arena has a clear conscience. Of course we dare to make a bet. However, Octopus weirdo, this is the first time in 100 years that you've made a bet with the Wind Thunder Arena. Do you have the money? I'm afraid that you'll need to prepare at least 100 million. Han Fei grinned. "I'll bet 500 million with you. Do you dare to accept?" The bearded man's face slightly changed. Was there really something wrong with the ghost, giant crocodile? However, the bearded man didn't think so. If Han Fei were so rich, why would he come here to play the game? So he simply asked, "Octopus weirdo, do you have the money?" Han Fei said, "If I take out the money, will the Wind Thunder Arena accept the bet? There are hundreds of thousands of people here today. You'd better think before you speak." The bearded man was silent for a long time, but a voice echoed in his head a moment later. "Don't worry. Take the bet." The bearded man grinned. "Huh, if you want to bet, Octopus weirdo, the Wind Thunder Arena will accept the bet as long as you could take out the money." Han Fei was about to say something when his face changed and he swallowed in shock. The bearded man smiled. "What's wrong, Octopus weirdo? Are you out of money?" In the auditorium, many people were shocked by the unbelievable bet, but Han Fei's face changed after the Wind Thunder Arena made the announcement. Everybody's first reaction was that Han Fei was a liar who only wanted to avoid the battle. But in fact, it was because Han Fei received a telepathic message. This voice transmission didn't come from anyone else, nor did it directly appear in his mind. Instead, it appeared in his heart. It was from the ghost, giant crocodile. There was no telling how it was sent. The ghost, giant crocodile, said, "Human, I can hide my level and bloodline. As long as I don't want to, they won't be able to find out. So, you will certainly lose. But, if you can change the condition of the bet to saving me, then everything will be fine. Don't talk. Just engrave your words in your heart with the power of your soul. I'll hear you. Han Fei was shocked. Damn it. Can any creature talk nowadays? How can this big guy be so smart? Han Fei replied as the ghost-eyed giant crocodile said, That works, but can you pretend that you were defeated by me later? The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said, As long as you can take me out, yes. Han Fei was surprised. You're not scared that I'll sell you out? The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said, You can't stop it. Also, because the gap between our levels is too huge, you can't sign a contractual spiritual beast contract with me at all. Also, I'll follow you after you get out. You can't stop me even if you summon a hidden fisher. Han Fei was intrigued. This big guy was rather confident. Han Fei didn't understand at all. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile hadn't been out for 8 years. Who knew when it would be challenged again? Therefore, this time it was not easy for a mentally unstable and weak fellow to challenge it. It had to seize this opportunity. So, in the next second, Han Fei looked at the bearded man and said, I accept the bet, but I don't want the money from the Wind Thunder Arena. I want it. Han Fei pointed at the ghost-eyed giant crocodile and declared confidently. The bearded man sneered. Take out the money if you can. Otherwise, how can I confirm the bet? Han Fei asked. Then, if I take out the money, will the bet be settled? In a certain private room, a middle-aged man glanced at the ghost-eyed giant crocodile for the 7th time. He was very sure that the ghost-eyed giant crocodile was fine. Immediately, the man said telepathically, Say yes. The bearded man grinned. So what if I say yes? However, as Han Fei waved his hand, something that shocked the host and the bearded man happened. Han Fei looked at the audience and said, I'm making a bet with the Wind Thunder Arena today. If this ghost-eyed giant crocodile is only a level 47 exotic creature, I'll pay you 500 million mid-quality pearls on the spot. But if the Wind Thunder Arena loses, this ghost-eyed giant crocodile will be mine. As soon as he said that, a hill of boxes filled with glittering mid-quality pearls appeared in the arena. Han Fei sneered. I have plenty of money. Do you really think I don't dare play? First update. Asking for votes into this chapter. Chapter 577. Everybody was shocked when Han Fei took out 500 million mid-quality pearls. This. Clang. Oh my god. This octopus weirdo is so rich. Oh my god. Isn't he way too rich? Why did you come to the arena when you're already so rich? Is there something wrong with your head? Jiang Tong sat on the ground, feeling that 10,000 iron-head fish were surging in his heart. How could this jerk be so rich? A bet as high as 500 million? He felt that his worldview had been turned upside down. He was so nervous about the 500 million mid-quality pearls that his heart was about to jump out, but this guy had casually taken out 500 million mid-quality pearls as a bet. How could this guy be so rich? At this moment, Jiang Tong couldn't help but try to recall where he had met this guy. He was sure that he had seen this Chao Daikyu before. Damn, Chao Daikyu was his fake name. He only knew Chao Chiu. However, Chao Chiu was a noble descendant of a major family in the Thousand Star City. Of course, he wouldn't be here. Besides, Chao Chiu didn't seem to know how to fight, did he? Very soon, someone dragged Han Fei's 500 million mid-quality pearls to the edge of the arena and sent a team to guard it. In the private room, a middle-aged man smiled. He was going to win the bet. Also, the battle had to go on. The bearded man said, Octopus weirdo, the bet has been made. Now, it's up to you to prove that this ghost-eyed giant crocodile is not a level 47 exotic creature. Of course, you can ask your teacher from the Fiery Dragon Town for help. He's not from the Fiery Dragon Town. Suddenly, a peak-level dangling fisher roared from the crowd. Han Fei turned around, only to find that it was Xuan Nan, who had just been beaten by him. However, Han Fei didn't care at all. He thought to himself, even if I've been exposed, so what? The Badger game had definitely been discovered by now. Now that I've been exposed, it doesn't matter if I try to cover it up or not. Han Fei laughed. Would I have made the bet with you if I wasn't capable? All of you, watch carefully. Watch my golden light, invincible 8 trigrams divine ability, fiery golden eyes technique. Pooh, many people were lost for words. Why are you still so naughty when you're in such a state? Someone in the audience roared, "What are you bragging about? If you have the ability, hurry up and show it. Yes, if you think you can do it, then give it a try. We accept this bet." Someone shouted, "Come, come, come. Please start your performance." In the crowd, Luren Kwong asked, "Is he crazy? The Wind Thunder Arena must be guarded by a powerful master." The expert couldn't tell? Luo Xiaobai shrugged. "I don't know. Let's wait and see." Zhang Xuanyu squeezed into the crowd and was stunned by Han Fei's action. In terms of stubbornness, no one would dare to say that they were the best. The 80 girls from the Blue Sea town were still stunned by the shock of 500 million mid-quality pearls. Xiaoyu covered her mouth, unable to say anything. She knew exactly how poor Han Fei was back then. He was so poor that he had to cut an ordinary clam into 2 pieces and eat it. Now, 500 million? What did that mean? However, for some reason, Xiaoyu felt that since Han Fei dared to bet, he would definitely win. She had already bet all her money on it. Next to her, Xiao Wushuang and the others all swallowed. Xiao Wushuang even said, "How great would it be if I could pretend and brag in front of hundreds of thousands of people like this in my lifetime?" In the field, Han Fei, however, bared his fangs and brandished his claws, solemnly beginning to dance. Han Fei swung his arms and crossed his legs, mumbling hum, 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 hum. The audience, Xia Xiaochan, Jiang Tong, just when someone couldn't help but throw shoes at Han Fei suddenly roared. "Ha! Ah!" Golden eyes, fiery eyes, open. From Han Fei's eyes, 2 weird beams of light that were crimson and milky white shot out. In fact, in the eyes of the experts, you were nothing but a mixture of spiritual energy and energy. What was the point of spraying that? However, in the eyes of outsiders, it was very good at pretending. What could be weirder than shooting beams of light from his eyes? When the spiritual energy and energy fell on the ghost, a giant crocodile that was wrapped in layers of chains, there was no reaction at first. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Someone cursed. "What a braggart. You scare me." Huh. Hardly had the man finished speaking when the ghost, a giant crocodile, suddenly roared and spewed out a lot of scorching white smoke. Its fangs were opening, and its body was writhing. The chains made of unknown materials were clanking and clanking. The ghost, a giant crocodile, was infuriated. It was going on a rampage. Hum! A terrifying and astonishing aura burst out of the ghost, a giant crocodile. In the sky, Xiao Zhan almost fell from the sky. Is that even possible? Xiao Zhan was lost for words. Han Fei was just pretending. How do you make the ghost, a giant crocodile, go on a rampage? Xiao Zhan immediately realized that Han Fei had other methods that he didn't know. The ghost, a giant crocodile, suddenly spewed out a desolation gale. The terrifying power left a dent on the ground, and wherever the gale passed, all the stones along the way were turned into powder. Han Fei immediately flashed and jumped aside. Then he was shocked. "Why are you being serious?" Han Fei immediately shouted, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Who the hell told me that this is the power of a level 47 creature? I'll give him 100 million. The ghost, a giant crocodile's aura and strength were soaring. In the blink of an eye, all its power surged out, and a terrifying aura burst out. The desolation gale hit the seals. Although it didn't break the seals, dozens of people vomited blood because of the shock. The people outside the field all leaned back, and some were about to run away. Not good. The seals can't resist it. Let's call the hanging fishers here. Before the hanging fishers came out, a middle-aged man had flown out of the private room. He put one hand on the seals, and his eyes flashed. Damn it! What trick did that kid play? This damn ghost, a giant crocodile, has been hiding for 8 years. In 8 years, you've turned yourself into a level 47 exotic creature. Han Fei raised his head and said, "Hey, hidden fisher. Well, I won't deny. Look at me. Although I'm not very strong, I have keen eyes. In order to get my keen eyes, I've worked hard for decades. Shut up. Even if it's not level 47, who can prove that it's a legendary creature? Also, you pretended to be a heavenly talent from the fiery dragon town. Is it a fraud? Han Fei sneered. Now, you're talking about my identity? What were you doing in the Wind Thunder Arena? Also, are you accusing me of fraud? Look at that. It's at least level 49 and possibly level 50. You've been raising it in the Wind Thunder Arena for 8 years, and you say you don't know? Ask the hundreds of thousands of people here. How many of them will believe you? If it weren't for my keen eyes, I would have been slapped to death. Han Fei wasn't scared at all in front of the hidden fisher. He was even talking back to him as if he didn't know anything. Many people in the audience were dumbfounded by his attitude. Huh. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile roared again and launched another desolation gale at him. Han Fei simply raised an ultra-quality spiritual shield to block it. Bam! Han Fei was sent flying by the blow, and he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Good. You're just stalling for time. You don't want to admit it after I die, do you? However, the hidden fisher said casually, of course, the Wind Thunder Arena will admit the bet. But you asked for this giant crocodile yourself. You want the Wind Thunder Arena to help you tame it? Also, while the Wind Thunder Arena made a mistake and didn't expect the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's real strength, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile was a challenge. However, you have to challenge it. Now, if you can't tame it, you can give up the game. The Wind Thunder Arena will return all the bets that were placed on you in full. However, you could take this ghost-eyed giant crocodile away when you're capable enough. Han Fei instantly roared. Do you think I'll believe you? Wait for me to go there next time? I don't even know if it was cooked by you. What if the Wind Thunder Arena says that it died of illness? Who can I turn to? As he spoke, the desolation gale was launched again and again. Han Fei vomited blood after being hit 3 times, and his ultra-quality shield was broken too. Han Fei roared. Let's continue the game. I'll bet another 500,000 on myself. Since I can make it go on a rampage, I can certainly calm it down. The hidden fisher hummed and snapped his fingers. The chains and shackles on the ghost-eyed giant crocodile were all unlocked, and the black veil on its eyes was removed. I admire your courage. As long as you can tame it, this ghost-eyed giant crocodile will be yours. As for the mistake caused by the Wind Thunder Arena's mistake, the Wind Thunder Arena is willing to compensate you with 100 million mid-quality pearls. Han Fei cursed in his heart. Are you King serious? If I'm really killed, I won't get anything. Han Fei activated the majestic mystic spell, and his aura soared to the maximum. At the same time, Little Fatty was attached to him, and Han Fei's aura immediately broke the barrier of a hanging fisher. Countless people in the arena were shocked. How did this son of Ibi *TCH hide himself so well? Second, asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 578. The moment Han Fei decided to continue the challenge, the host shouted, Ladies and gentlemen, Octopus Weirdo is truly a hidden, unparalleled heavenly talent. Even in such a disadvantageous situation, he still chose to fight head-on. Since he can see through the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's true strength, can he win? A member of the audience immediately cursed. K. What was there to fight about? How do we fight a legendary creature? Shoot, I just bet 1,000 mid-quality pearls on Octopus Weirdo. Can I get a refund? Son of a bitch, why don't you just admit defeat? Why are you still rushing up? In the sky, Xiao Zhan was watching this scene thoughtfully. Han Fei was no fool, and the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's outburst surprised him. Why didn't he erupt earlier or later? Why did he erupt when he was provoked by Han Fei? The girls from the Blue Sea town all turned green. Someone shouted, It's over, it's over. We've lost money. It seems like we've helped brother, you lose 40 million. Jiang Tong's face couldn't have turned green. The other party had already said that you could quit. Why the CK did you still want to go up? You knew it was a legendary creature, yet you still rushed forward? He was a legend, big brother. Xiao Xiaochan frowned. The first thing she thought of was the hexagon starfish. For some reason, she knew Han Fei too well. She guessed that Han Fei had reached an agreement with the ghost, giant crocodile. Zhang Xuanyu slapped his thigh and cursed, "Brute, you must be cheating me." Lu Renquang rolled his eyes. "Xiaobai, do you think he's stupid?" Luo Xiaobai shook her head. "He's not stupid. He must have a backup plan." He Xiaoyu, on the other hand, clenched her fists anxiously. However, she had her suspicions. She remembered the scene when Han Fei took them to dig the pit of the purple-tailed scorpions. She felt that Han Fei wouldn't be so stupid as to rush up and fight. Those who were familiar with Han Fei knew his character. But no one in the Wind Thunder Town was familiar with Han Fei. Now that Han Fei had turned into Octopus Weirdo, nobody knew him at all. The Hidden Fisher was not thinking that Han Fei could defeat the ghost giant crocodile, but wondering if he would appease the ghost giant crocodile in a certain way. If that happened, Han Fei would still be the winner. That was why the Hidden Fisher agreed to let Han Fei forfeit the game. However, the ghost giant crocodile had broken free from the shackles and chains. It raised its head and spat out a desolation gale before it swung its tail at Han Fei. However, while running wildly, Han Fei shouted, "It's as urgent as the law. Stop!" Suddenly, the audience saw that the huge ghost giant crocodile really did stop. He didn't move at all, and his tail was still swinging out. F***CK. What the hell is this? What ability is this? Why don't I sense any energy or spiritual energy fluctuations? Han Fei screamed, as expected of a legendary type creature. So powerful. You can actually block my soul-controlling spell with your divine will? The ghost giant crocodile moved again. As if it had broken a barrier, it swung its tail at Han Fei again. Han Fei shrieked again. The universe is infinite. Borrow the power of the universe. Be still, Schwa. The ghost giant crocodile was frozen again. Many people in the auditorium were dumbfounded. What the heck? It was frozen again? What kind of technique did this guy use? Someone was suspicious. Are they fighting in the soul world? That's Bull's asterisk it. There's no soul world. But that's what Octopus Weirdo shouted just now. Luren Kwong covered his face. I got it. I know what's going on. Luo Xiaobai nodded. Me too. Xiao Xiaochan laughed so hard that she almost jumped off the window of the private room. Jiang Tong was dumbfounded. What's going on? Is this Octopus Weirdo's strength beyond my understanding? In the blink of an eye, Han Fei stepped on a ball of spiritual energy and stepped on it 7 times in a row. Then he shouted, "Step on the 7 stars and seal the gods in the grand array." Then, Han Fei jumped on the ghost, a giant crocodile that was frozen, and roared at it, "Don't move. Don't resist." The ghost giant crocodile seemed to have broken something again. The audience didn't understand it, and the Hidden Fisher was dumbfounded too. He wondered if it was an unknown barrier. Could it really seal the soul? Xiao Zhan, on the other hand, was already sitting on the roof of the Wind Thunder Arena. He covered his head with one hand and almost wanted to drag Han Fei over and beat him up. If they found out about this, the Thug Academy would be completely humiliated. By then, the president would definitely chase you from the west side of the Wind Thunder Town to the east side of the Wind Thunder Town. The desolation gale sprayed out randomly, and the ghost giant crocodile writhed crazily. Then, his tail slammed into the barrier, scaring the audience so much that they peed their pants and ran away. The Hidden Fisher's body trembled, and he was appalled. What kind of power is this? It's as strong as the attack of an intermediate Hidden Fisher. Just a tail? Han Fei sucked on the ghost giant crocodile with little fatty, and the sucker was almost broken. He couldn't help but be speechless. Who the hell could withstand a casual blow with 2,500 tons of force? Peak strike of the Hulk. Then, Han Fei said, I'll absorb. Circles of spiritual energy and energy surged into Han Fei's body. Han Fei was absorbing for real, or he couldn't have passed it off as real. Someone exclaimed, not good. The octopus can absorb spiritual energy and energy at the same time. The ghost giant crocodile is going to lose. Many people stood up spontaneously. Don't. A level 49 legendary creature is fighting an advanced dangling fisher. What's the point of this game if it loses? The hidden fisher who guarded the array was also horrified. Other people couldn't tell, but he could easily tell that the octopus was not a naturally endowed spiritual beast, but just a contractual spiritual beast. What kind of contractual spiritual beast could boast such a terrifying suction force? Also, Han Fei's secret technique shocked him too, which seemed to have increased his strength by at least 3 times. A moment later, when the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's voice echoed in Han Fei's heart, its legs gave way, and it fell to the ground. Duong. Han Fei waved at the audience and said, "I said that I would win. Everyone in the audience, please raise your hands. I know you must have made a lot of money. At least trust me." Clatter. Stinky shoes, stinky socks, and broken wood were all thrown at Han Fei. Someone cursed. Danby Astor starred. "You're shameless." Someone said angrily, "Little brat, you were just pretending earlier? You could have easily defeated Ming Kuan and Jing Chongfeng. You liar. Liar, you're just swindling our money." Han Fei said angrily, "We're all adults. You should be responsible for your words. I fought hard for a long time and won the victory when I was exhausted. How could I be swindled? Look at me, I'm covered in blood." Suddenly, the hidden fisher pointed his finger, and a stream of spiritual energy fell on Han Fei. With a hum, all the blood on Han Fei's body was gone, and his skin was smooth. Han Fei. "Huh, just as I expected, you liar." The hidden fisher couldn't have been more infuriated. This damn thief. Although the arena was full of people this time, more than 200,000 people had bet less than 1.5 billion on the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. However, those who bet on Han Fei to win were 600 million. The odds were 1 to 5. 3 billion was gone. He had lost all the money he had made before, and he had to pay at least 500 million. Moreover, he had even lost this legendary creature. The hidden fisher secretly cursed. He should have stopped the game just now. Why did he covet this brat's mere 500 million mid-quality pearls? Now, he had suffered a double loss. A legendary creature couldn't be bought with money at all. If he were to sell a legendary creature for 5 billion, someone from the Thousand-Star City would have bought it immediately. 5 billion seemed a lot, but in fact, in the more advanced currency system, it didn't even need to be blinked. He cursed incessantly. The hidden fisher landed and looked at Han Fei. "It's fine if you want to take this ghost-eyed crocodile away. Your tricks are also within the rules. However, if you want to leave, you'd better restore your real face first. Who are you? Where are you from? I'll look into it." At this moment, the audience was already in an uproar. If the ghost-eyed crocodile weren't still here, those people would have rushed up and beaten Han Fei to death. Han Fei scratched his head and thought for a long time. Then he suddenly shouted at the sky, "Master, are you there?" Gloomily, Xiao Zhan grunted indifferently. He really didn't want to talk to this little bastard. However, he must have earned hundreds of millions of mid-quality pearls by getting a legendary creature. Although he had to be embarrassed, he didn't mind it. He could just fight back during the game. The hidden fisher suddenly turned around and looked at Xiao Zhan, who was sitting on the top of the arena. He was shocked. When did he go up there? In the arena, Han Fei's face changed, and he returned to his original appearance. Shoot! Who is this?" Someone exclaimed. "Han Fei." Third update. Asking for votes. The author said, "Well, I'll stop updating today. I can't continue. But I'm not really stopping updating today, am I? What broken update got hand? I'm not one of them." End of this chapter. Chapter 579. When Han Fei revealed his true face, everybody from the Blue Sea town was shocked. He Xiaoyu grinned. She had just bet all her belongings on Han Fei, including what she just won. She had invested nearly 80,000 mid-quality pearls. In the blink of an eye, it was 400,000. He Xiaoyu couldn't have imagined such a number before. She didn't know either. She had just come to watch the competition and somehow earned so much money. Xiao Wushuang and Xiang then were all dumbfounded and wailed. Xiao Wushuang asked, "He Xiaoyu, did you know that octopus weirdo was Han Fei? Why didn't you tell me earlier? If you had, I would have bet everything on him." He Xiaoyu snorted. "I didn't know it until later. Also, The third game changed so much that I wasn't even sure if Han Fei could win. Xiangmin beat his chest and stamped his feet. There was a great bet in front of me, but I didn't cherish it. I'm afraid that I won't have another chance in the future. In the private room, Jiang Tong's mouth was wide open. His eyes almost popped out. It's him? This jerk. I was wondering why I found him familiar. It turns out to be this jerk. Jiang Tong was dumbfounded, but he felt that he was about to pass out. 20%? He had become a billionaire just like that? At this moment, Jiang Tong couldn't have felt more fortunate about his decision. Thanks to his sixth sense as a man, he had uncanny trust in Han Fei. That was why he tricked everyone he knew, his subordinates, and his classmates to come here and bet on Han Fei. He was absolutely sure that the biggest gain from his trip to the Wind Thunder Town was definitely not the Bullsh *T friendly match, but the surprise that fell from the sky. As for Xia Xiaochan and Zhang Xuanyu, although they didn't know what methods Han Fei used, Han Fei must have been confident since he took action. The girls who were called over by Zhang Xuanyu all jumped to their feet in excitement. They had all made a fortune and become millionaires. Was there anything more exciting than that? As for Mr. Xuanan and his students from the Fire Dragon Town, they were all dumbfounded. It's him? How is it possible? How can a student be so strong? Some heavenly talents from other towns came to watch. When they saw Han Fei, some of them recognized him. Someone said, "So it was him." That made sense. The number one on the wanted list of the level 3 fishery is no joke. Someone asked, "Is he Han Fei?" The guy who killed Mo Qianshang, the top expert on the 3rd level fisherman's wanted list? Someone nodded. Not just that. This person is so bold that he dares to rob anyone. Halfway through his sentence, the man stopped. Some things were forbidden to be spread to the outside world. Once the news spread, there would definitely be people coming to arrest him. As for what kind of person Han Fei was in the level 3 fishery, they would find out after they went to the level 3 fishery again. Most of the participants had been to the level 3 fishery before. However, they were not like Han Fei and the others. Their training time was very short. Some of them had returned long ago, while others had only stayed for a few months. There were also some who were preparing to go after the exchange competition to build up their confidence. But whether they recognized Han Fei or not, at least from this moment on, Han Fei had become a dazzling new star. The hidden fisher of the Wind Thunder Arena didn't say anything, but he had made up his mind. In the future, the Wind Thunder Arena would add a rule. Anyone who participated in the competition in disguise, once discovered, would lose all the results of the competition. As for this time, Han Fei had failed. One reason was that the betting was open to all in the first place. Was it cheating? Not really. Han Fei had been fighting as an advanced dangling fisher all the time. However, no one would have thought that Han Fei was so strong. Ming Kuan, who had won 138 games in a row, was really strong. He was even comparable to the heavenly talents of the Thousand Star City, but he was still no match for Han Fei. At this moment, many people of the Wind Thunder Town who were secretly observing began to spread the news everywhere. And the content, without exception, was all describing how strong Han Fei was at this moment. Han Fei squatted in front of the ghost, a giant crocodile, and said via voice transmission, "From today on, you are free. You have 2 choices. One is to become my contractual spiritual beast, but I'm sorry, my contractual spiritual beast limit is full. The other is to become the guardian spiritual beast of the Thug Academy. You only need to guard the academy for 10 years. After that, if you want to leave, I won't stop you." While talking, Han Fei winked at the ghost, a giant crocodile. Han Fei was suspicious. The ghost, a giant crocodile, was suspicious. I can't be someone else's spiritual beast. As for the guardian spiritual beast you said, is it true? Han Fei blinked, but in his heart, Old Bai and Xiao Zhan are here. Do you think you can run away? It's good enough for me to be your guardian spiritual beast. Look at the hexagon starfish. It's rolling in the bull conch pit every day. It's up to you. My purpose is to make money. However, I think you should go to the Thug Academy first. Not to mention you, a legendary creature. There are several mysterious creatures in the Thug Academy. None of them are worse than you. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile was stunned. This human is really good at bragging. I've only seen mysterious creatures once in my life. How can there be mysterious creatures in the territory of human beings? Huh. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile seemed to have accepted its fate. Now, its top priority was to follow this person out and let this person take it away from the Wind Thunder Town. Otherwise, if it were to escape on its own, it would probably be caught by someone halfway. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile roared a few times, and then its roars became smaller and smaller. In the eyes of outsiders, it had compromised and been conquered by Han Fei. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile's body was shrinking. In the blink of an eye, it became a big crocodile more than 2 meters long. Even so, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile still looked so ferocious. Especially its fangs, which were all exposed, it was a breathtaking sight. Han Fei grinned and raised his head with a smile. Does anyone else want to compete? The audience burst into fury again. Why are you still fighting? Are you going to fight an iron-headed fish? You've already lost so much money that you can't even afford to wear your shoes. The hidden fisher snorted. Take your money and this ghost-eyed giant crocodile and leave. Han Fei stretched his body and shook his hair. Except for his ragged clothes, the rest of his body was unscathed. As for vomiting blood, it didn't exist. I've already won. Why would I vomit blood? Han Fei swaggered out of the Wind Thunder Arena. On his way, a lot of people were cursing and pointing at him. Han Fei wasn't bothered at all. He thought to himself, the rich don't bother with the poor. As for Xia Xiaochan, she appeared before Jiang Tong as soon as possible. She tilted her head and smiled at him, which made Jiang Tong's hair stand on end. Knowing that octopus weirdo was Han Fei, Jiang Tong could easily guess that the mushroom-haired girl was Xia Xiaochan. Jiang Tong coughed. Cough, cough. Give me some time. I need to collect the money. Han Fei left in a good mood. He boarded a boat with the ghost-eyed giant crocodile and flew to the Tree Core City. He decided that he wouldn't go there again until the public's fury and the arena was closed. Xiaozhan followed Han Fei to the arena. Luo Xiaobai and the others arrived too. Each of them had earned 5 million mid-quality pearls. When the ghost-eyed giant crocodile saw Xiaozhan, it couldn't help but feel that the guy was even stronger than the guy in the Wind Thunder Arena. Observing the ghost-eyed giant crocodile for a long time, Xiaozhan asked, "Can you talk?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile didn't say anything. Han Fei nudged it with his foot and said, "You can't escape Mr. Xiaozhan's eyes. Seriously, you're not the only one who can talk. There are more in our academy." The ghost-eyed giant crocodile roared at Han Fei and said helplessly, "I can talk, but this is a deal. I'll help you make money, and you'll help me escape." Xiaozhan held his chin and said, Not bad. Little crocodile, are you sure you don't want to be the contractual spiritual beast of my students? You must know that the boys in our academy are all dragons, and the girls are all phoenixes. You're just a legendary creature. You got a great deal." The ghost-eyed giant crocodile's ferocious eyes were full of disdain and disbelief. Xiaozhan said, "Han Fei, let Little Gold and the nine-tailed mantis shrimp out." Han Fei grinned, and Little Gold and the nine-tailed mantis shrimp immediately ran out. Little Gold ran to Han Fei the moment he saw him, not even looking at the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. The nine-tailed mantis shrimp, on the other hand, had already approached and scratched the ghost-eyed giant crocodile with his 9 chains. Then, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile simply knocked the nine-tailed mantis shrimp away. "I'm already an adult, but I've been raped by a shrimp. How humiliating is that?" However, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile was truly shocked. His bloodline seems to be of a higher level than mine. Both of them. While they were talking, Zhang Xuanyu and the others came back and were laughing aloud. "Ha ha! We made a fortune." First update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 580. Zhang Xuanyu, Luren Kuang, and the others walked in and poured out all the sea-swallowing seashells on the ground. Luren Kuang shivered and said, "If we had known that the arena was so profitable, we wouldn't have gone to sell trinkets." Zhang Xuanyu scolded, "What do you know? After all, there was only one chance to fight in the Wind Thunder Arena. When we left, the Wind Thunder Town posted new rules. Didn't you see it? Reselling accessories was a long-term solution. Moreover, We didn't know that the arena was so profitable. Xiao Zhan asked curiously. How much did you earn? How did he get so many swallowing seashells? Zhang Xuanyu said, oh, I just distributed the money to those girls and earned a total of 200 million. After giving out 40 million, I still have 160 million left. After deducting the cost, the net profit is 120 million yuan. Xiao Zhan's eyelids twitched. Did these little bastards spend so much money? However, in Xiao Zhan's opinion, 120 million wasn't a lot. It was just that they didn't try to earn it. If they really tried to earn it themselves, it wouldn't be easy either, Xiao Zhan asked again. Where's Xiaochan? Han Fei said with a smile. I went to ask for money. Are you working with someone else? Luo Xiaobai was the first to react. If he had only made 100 million, it wouldn't have been worth the hidden fisher of the Wind Thunder Arena showing up in person. He wondered what Han Fei and Xia Xiaochan had done. Only Zhang Xuanyu muttered. They had agreed to date, but in the end, they had gone to make money together. Luo Xiaobai was not interested in money. She simply looked at the nine-tailed mantis shrimp, little gold, and the ghost-eyed giant crocodile curiously. She couldn't help asking, that octopus is the third one? Hearing Luo Xiaobai's question, Luren Kuang and Zhang Xuanyu both looked at Han Fei. Han Fei said, why don't we talk about it when we get home? Yes. Then let's go back to the Blue Sea town. Xiao Zhan's eyes flickered. It was not impossible for a normal person to have a third contractual spiritual beast. However, Han Fei was only an advanced dangling fisher and had 3 contractual spiritual beasts, so he would probably be the focus of attention. About 2 hours later, Xia Xiaochan came back, travel-worn. As soon as he entered, he saw Han Fei and the others playing fish dragon cards. Each of them had a pile of swallowing seashells beside them. Yes, they were no longer gambling with 1 or 2 mid-quality pearls, but with their swallowing seashells, which were all filled with mid-quality pearls. 3 and 2. 3 green turtles and 2 white fish. Luren Kuang scoffed. Bigger than you, Zhang Xuanyu muttered. Crushed, Luo Xiaobai said a bomb. Seeing this, Xia Xiaochan bared her teeth. Great. I'm asking for money outside, and you're gambling here? Luo Xiaobai stood up. Xiaochan, come and play. Xia Xiaochan snorted angrily. No, I brought the money back. Oh, how much is it? Walala. A pile of swallowing seashells fell to the ground like a hill. Xiao Zhan's eyelids twitched. How much is this? Xia Xiaochan said, a total of 8 billion. Clang. Xiao Zhan lost his balance and fell to the ground. Luren Kuang was dumbfounded, and all the cards in Zhang Xuanyu's hand fell to the ground. Han Fei took a deep breath. You gave Jiang Tong money again? Xia Xiaochan nodded. That guy is rather capable. I don't know where he found so many people to bet for him. He made a lot of money 3 times in a row. However, that guy made more than 400 million just by talking. Isn't it too easy to make money? Han Fei grinned. Huh, that guy is capable of that? But it doesn't matter. Those who really make money are often those who talk. Although he took 400 million, I don't believe that he has more than 300 million in his hands. However, we've really made a fortune. 2 billion is in our account. We're rich now. On the Blue Sea town side, the girls suddenly rose and began to buy things in the Tree Core City in groups. After only 1 hour, all the merchants in the Tree Core City were smiling as if flowers were blossoming when they saw that they were students in the school uniforms of the Blue Sea town. As for the boys on the Blue Sea town side, they all lowered their heads. They should have followed them. At this moment, Xiang Zuozhua was showing off in front of Li Hani and the others with a smile. I only bet on 1 game and made 1 million. Zhong Yu said, get your money away from me. It's dazzling. Lin Shimu said, don't talk. Leave me alone. Gloomily, Li Hani snorted. 1 million is nothing. It's not enough to buy a high-quality spiritual weapon. Xiang Zuozhua said, but I made it fast. It only took me less than half an hour. Everyone, Jiang Tong had made a fortune at this moment. He hadn't stopped smiling since he came out of the arena. Although he felt that he was in pain when he gave the money to Xia Xiaochan, he still made a fortune. This time, he really made a fortune. He had actually given out a lot of money. He had spent 60 million on gifts, maintaining relationships with his classmates, and expanding his business. He wouldn't have dared to think about it before. Originally, his original plan was to give each of them 1,000 mid-quality pearls. But in the end, he really earned too much, which made him feel embarrassed, so he gave out a little more of it. Jiang Tong felt that if he could make more than 300 million after being robbed by Han Fei once, he would rather be robbed by Han Fei every day. Of course, some were happy and some were sad. On the fiery Dragon Town side, they were all gloomy. Although the misunderstanding was cleared up later, who could bear it after being slapped in the face by the Blue Sea Town? However, Han Fei was already so strong. What could they do? They couldn't beat him. Someone said, "Sir, we have to ask the president and the mayor to help us. Sir, we can't just let it go. Han Fei borrowed our fame, so we should have a share of the money he made." Xuan said, "Shut up and wait for the president and the mayor to come back." Luo Xiaobai was staring at the ghost-eyed giant crocodile. Just now, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile used its petrifying ability and turned a wooden table into a stone, which surprised her. Han Fei and the others were playing cards with a mountain of sea-swallowing seashells in front of them. Among them, Zhang Xuanyu was the one with the most sea-swallowing seashells. He was too lucky. Bam! Just as the four of them were arguing, the door was kicked open. Old Bai walked in angrily, pointed at a group of people, and scolded, "I just went to a meeting. How long has it been? All you did was mess around. I'm told that you smashed the Wind Thunder Arena, right? Is there such a thing? Wait, where did the little crocodile come from?" As he talked, Old Bai snatched the ghost-eyed giant crocodile, and the latter opened its mouth and spat out a desolation gale. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile was too frightened that the newcomer seemed strong. A legendary creature? Old Bai crushed the desolation gale and grabbed the ghost-eyed giant crocodile by its neck, before he observed it up and down. "Hey, what species is this? It's quite strong." BM, the whole treehouse shook because of the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's tail. However, it was slapped in the face by Old Bai so hard that it almost doubted its life. Having no choice, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile used its petrification ability in panic. However, it found that its petrification ability didn't work on the old man at all. How is it possible? Old Bai frowned. This little crocodile is quite ferocious. Its spiritual power and soul power are very strong. Are you going to make a breakthrough? The ghost-eyed giant crocodile was stunned. How the F***CK did he see through me? I've been hiding it well. Old Bai nodded slightly. Not bad. It looks good. After the breakthrough, it will probably have the strength of millions of kilograms. In terms of pure strength, it's no worse than an advanced hidden fisher. Where did you catch it? Xiao Zhan snorted. Han Fei, that brat. He won it in the arena. Old Bai. A moment later, Old Bai cursed aloud. No wonder, you bastard. I was wondering why so many people suddenly asked the Thug Academy to ban you from the competition, especially Han Fei. The mayor of the Wind Thunder Town specifically asked you to be banned from the competition. Han Fei, huh? What? Thankfully, I mediated and promised that you wouldn't use any secret techniques or contractual spiritual beasts, so they reluctantly agreed to let you participate in the competition. Didn't I tell you to keep a low profile? Are you always so low-key? Han Fei muttered. When did you tell us to keep a low profile? Besides, now that we're rich, it doesn't matter if we keep a high profile, does it? Old Bai rolled his eyes. All you think about is money. What's the point of having so many mid-quality pearls? Do you really think the exchange rate of mid-quality pearls is high in the unknown place? Second update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 581. Han Fei and the others were stunned by Old Bai's words. Han Fei had bought intelligence from Uncle Faceless, who said that ultra-quality pearls were equivalent to low-quality spiritual stones. In the unknown place, high-quality pearls, ultra-quality pearls, and low-quality spiritual stones were the mainstream currencies. This was also the reason why he wanted to make money. 2 billion might seem like a lot, but if you looked at it from another perspective, you would realize that it wasn't much at all. Old Bai walked to them and said, "Come on, give me all the money." Everyone. In an instant, except for Luo Xiaobai, The four of them immediately stood in front of the sea-swallowing seashell. Han Fei waved his hand and collected the sea-swallowing seashells. Han Fei said, "President, you can't learn from Junior Uncle Faceless. Do you think it's easy for me? It wasn't easy for me to get this much money, and you want to take it all? Isn't that too much?" Xiao Xiaoqian nodded. "Yes, it wasn't easy for me to earn it." Zhang Xuanyu. "Principal, we are poor." Lu Rinquan was secretly stuffing his sea-swallowing seashell. "Are you kidding me? Old Bai still wants it." Old Bai didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Little B asterisk stars. "Do you really think I will rob you of your money?" Everyone nodded in agreement. "More than that, you used to fight for 10,000 mid-quality pearls. Now, that 2 billion was in front of you. How could you not be tempted?" Old Bai turned his head and looked at Xiao Zhan. "Tell them." Xiao Zhan smiled speechlessly and said, "All right, don't worry about giving the money to the principal. He won't embezzle your money, but if you take so many mid-quality pearls to the unknown place, it will be hard for you to spend them." "Why? Aren't mid-quality pearls a popular currency? Let's go and exchange." Xiao Zhan said, "Fine. Since you are destined to go to the unknown place, I will tell you about it." Everyone was stunned. "There was a way?" Xiao Zhan asked, "Do you know where mid-quality pearls come from?" Everyone shook their heads. They really didn't know. All they knew was that it was money. Xiao Zhan said, "The pearls mined from the ocean can store spiritual energy. In the unknown place, people used high-quality or ultra-quality pearls because they contained a lot of spiritual energy. When they run out of spiritual energy, the high-quality pearls will become mid-quality pearls, and the ones below that will become low-quality pearls." It occurred to him that the high-quality and ultra-quality pearls in Forge the Universe did contain spiritual energy. At that time, he was a little puzzled, thinking that the difference between them was the difference in spiritual energy. Han Fei said in surprise, "So, mid-quality pearls are actually the waste left by those people in the unknown place? Completely useless?" Zhang Xuanyu. "So, we've actually been treating trash as treasure." Xiao Zhan shook his head. "You can't say that. After all, when there were so many people, there would be a need to trade. They couldn't exchange items for items like in ancient times. There had to be a form of currency. The mid-quality pearls that have run out of spiritual energy are actually not bad in quality. They can greatly satisfy the mutual transactions between human beings." Suddenly, Han Fei said, "No, that's not right. If mid-quality pearls are continuously shipped back from the unknown place, it will inevitably lead to the continuous increase of the currency of human society. If there are more and more mid-quality pearls, it will cause inflation, and the purchasing power will plummet." Inflation? Xiao Zhan couldn't help but be taken aback. Although he hadn't heard of this term before, it seemed quite appropriate. Xiao Zhan nodded. "Yes, as there are more and more mid-quality pearls, the purchasing power will plummet. Therefore, every 100 years, the Thousand-Star City will recycle a huge number of mid-quality pearls, destroy them, and turn them into energy that will return to the ocean. At that time, the purchasing power of mid-quality pearls will rise again." Han Fei was stunned. "How? Throw them into the ocean? Where are they? Let's find them." Xiao Zhan, Old Bai said, "Shut up and listen to the class." Xiao Zhan said, "This destruction is not dumping, but crushing the massive low-quality and mid-quality pearls into powder and dispersing them between heaven and earth. Although the mid-quality pearls are completely empty of spiritual energy, the substances that make up the mid-quality pearls contain energy but very little energy. Just like the sand at the bottom of the sea, they contain energy, but no one will dig them out. But after accumulating, the energy is not small. They will be fed back to the ocean and appear in another state. Do you understand?" Luo Xiaobai nodded. "Yes, the substances that make up the mid-quality pearls will be absorbed by fish or other creatures and transformed into something else." Zhang Xuanyu and the others also understood, but they didn't quite understand it. Only Han Fei exclaimed, "The law of conservation of energy?" Xiao Zhan asked, "What? Don't use these fancy words. Speak human language." Han Fei coughed and said, "That is to say, assuming that our world is closed, the energy it possesses is fixed. No matter how much energy we take from the world and the infinite ocean, the energy itself doesn't decrease, but just exists in a different form. Either it increases our own physique, or it disperses and returns to the world. Anyway, the total amount remains the same. Xiao Zhan and Old Bai looked at each other in bewilderment. It seemed that Han Fei understood quite well. Xiao Zhan said, "Yes, that's right." Han Fei's face suddenly turned red. So, our so-called cultivation is to constantly turn a part of this world into a part of ourselves. The more we contain, the stronger we will be, right? Liu Kwang nodded. That's easy to understand. It's like when I eat a lot of things, those things are not mine, but after I eat them, they become mine. Luo Xiaobai asked, "Wait, then what about those spiritual plants that I control and summon?" Without waiting for Xiao Zhan to speak, Han Fei said, "Isn't it simple? It means that you borrow some energy from this world for temporary use and have to return it after using it up. As your strength improves, you can borrow more and more energy." Zhang, Xuanyu asked, "Then aren't we soul warriors consuming our own energy?" Han Fei explained, "So, an excellent soul warrior must practice a combat skill that can not only fight, but also absorb spiritual energy so that he can last a long time." Xia Xiaochan asked, "Then what's with the stealth of our hunters?" Han Fei was taken aback. "Is stealth related to energy?" Wow. Xiao Zhan and Old Bai looked at each other in bewilderment. Damn, how did it change from currency to cultivation? Besides, it took them a long time to understand these principles before. But why did these geniuses, especially Han Fei, seem to be born with this knowledge? Old Bai and Xiao Zhan frowned. Geniuses who could cultivate were not geniuses, but those with high comprehension were. As far as they could see, Han Fei's comprehension was really F***king. Way too abnormal. Cough, cough. Old Bai said, "Hunters belong to a special category. To become a hunter, you must first have a good understanding of space. Maybe you don't know it, but if you don't have this talent, you can't become a hunter. This has nothing to do with energy." Han Fei asked, "President, what is knife intent and other things? Or faith and these things? These things are also a kind of energy, right? Or rather, this is a kind of advanced energy that we don't understand yet." Old Bai paused and was silent for a while before he said, "It can also be understood as a more advanced energy. This kind of energy is said to come from heaven and earth, but it's not from heaven and earth. It's more like a law, a kind of mighty power. Only after you reach a certain level will you understand this mystery. Now, hand over all your money, and I'll find a way to exchange it for high-quality pearls for you." "Can I?" Hearing this, Han Fei and the others hurriedly threw out all the mid-quality pearls they had just collected. Only Han Fei kept 100 million. This 100 million could be used as the development fund for the Thug Academy and the Fish Dragons. However, Han Fei suddenly remembered something and asked, "President, I have a question. Can low-quality spiritual stones be exchanged for mid-quality pearls?" Han Fei suddenly remembered that he exchanged a low-quality spiritual stone for 100 million mid-quality pearls at Junior Uncle Faceless Place. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. If mid-quality pearls were just used as pure currency, how could the ratio be 1:10,000? Old Bai asked, "Do you have low-quality spiritual stones?" Han Fei grinned. "A few," Old Bai said. "This is related to the content of spiritual energy. One high-quality pearl contains about 1,000 points of spiritual energy. To balance the economy, there's a rule that 100 mid-quality pearls can be exchanged for one high-quality pearl. In fact, in private, no one is willing to exchange. One ultra-quality pearl contains about 10,000 points of spiritual energy, which is only 10 times that of a high-quality pearl. At this time, even fewer people are willing to exchange ultra-quality pearls for mid-quality pearls. If a fool insists on exchanging, there will be another 10 times gap, which means that one ultra-quality pearl can be exchanged for 10,000 mid-quality pearls." As he spoke, Old Bai squinted at Han Fei. One low-quality spiritual stone and one ultra-quality pearl both contain about 10,000 points of spiritual energy. So they can also be exchanged for 10,000 mid-quality pearls. Of course, only a fool will exchange for them. Han Fei was immediately upset. It seems that I'm that fool. It turns out that there is a difference in spiritual energy between the two. Fortunately, Han Fei didn't exchange much from Junior Uncle Faceless. Otherwise, he would have suffered a great loss. After collecting their swallowing seashells, Old Bai cursed, "Get the hell out of here and do whatever you're supposed to do. By the way, don't make trouble. Your goal isn't to make money, but to win the 36-town competition and let the Thug Academy's reputation resound throughout the 36 towns." After driving them away, Old Bai shook his head. "Xiao Zhan." Old Bai covered his chest and asked him to calm down. With that, Old Bai said to the ghost, a giant crocodile who was pretending to be dead in the corner, "Come with me." The author says these chapters are transitional chapters about the setting of the world economic system. They are part of the worldview. None of them are straightforward. I'll be more straightforward in a few days. Into this chapter. Chapter 582. He Xiaoyu and the others, as excellent great fishing masters who came to observe and learn, could not live in the central tree, so they could only live in the regular trees nearby. In fact, the interior decoration of these ordinary trees was not bad. The special thing about the central tree was that it highlighted its identity. Those who could live on the central tree at this time were all dangling fishers. Those who could live on the top floor were the strongest of the strong, such as Han Fei and the others. He Xiaoyu was sitting on the windowsill with her legs bent and her chin in her hand. She was still reminiscing. Han Fei was too strong in the battle today. He was growing too fast, so fast that no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't keep up with him. A girl's mind was in a mess. He Xiaoyu was thinking that they would leave in half a year. Their target was the unknown place. What kind of place was that? He didn't even have the right to go. Not to mention the unknown place, she wasn't even qualified to go to the level 3 fishery. Just a few months ago, He Xiaoyu and the others tried to apply to go to the level 3 fishery, only to be mercilessly rejected by their teacher. His teacher would never allow such a thing to happen. It was on that day that Xiang Zuozhua and the others returned, battered and exhausted. After that, Lin Xingmu, Zhong Yu, Su Yebai, and the others all returned. Zhong Yu's strength rose by 2 realms, while Xiang Zuozhua's strength rose by 1 realm. He Xiaoyu felt that they were improving too fast, so she asked if she could go. In the end, no matter who they asked, they were all stopped. She remembered that Xiang Zuozhua told her solemnly, "Don't go to the level 3 fishery before you become a dangling fisher." Even dangling fishers had to be very careful. Over there, life was the most important thing. The rest, swallowing seashells, fishing boats, are not important. At that time, He Xiaoyu also asked Han Fei about the level 3 fishery. At that time, Xiang Zuozhua didn't want to tell her. But in the end, he still told her that Han Fei was hunted by countless people in the level 3 fishery, and he didn't dare to say that he knew Han Fei. From then on, He Xiaoyu knew that the level 3 fishery was very, very difficult. He Xiaoyu, do you want to eat skewers? Suddenly, He Xiaoyu heard a familiar voice. He looked down, only to see the 5 of them, each holding a skewer of fish balls and eating. Han Fei had 5 or 6 skewers in his hand and was looking up at her. He Xiaoyu was stunned. Huh? Oh, wait for me. He Xiaoyu retracted her head in a panic. Han Fei took a bite of the fish ball and glanced at Xia Xiaochan. How generous. Xia Xiaochan rolled her eyes. I don't mind. Hearing Han Fei's cry, Xia Wushuang, Xiang Nan, and Wang Baiyu craned their heads too. For this exchange competition, only the 4 of them had come. The original Chun Qing and the others, under the washing of time, because of the problem of their aptitude and cultivation progress, they eventually faded into obscurity. Among them, He Xiaoyu was not a heavenly talent. Even though she had little red, it was still not enough. However, since a few years ago, He Xiaoyu had been training crazily and became a hunter, which made her stand out. And Wang Baiyu was an armorist. The elders in the family were all armorists, so they were naturally talented. As for the path of a spirit gatherer, he didn't succeed in the end. The heavenly talent in the village was no longer shining. Xia Wushuang wasn't weak in the first place. It was only natural that he was outstanding. Xiang Nan, on the other hand, had risen too. Xiao Yu ran down the stairs, followed by Xiao Wushuang and the other two. Xiao Wushuang was rather upset when he saw Han Fei. He hugged him for comfort and mumbled, "That's too much. If I had known that octopus weirdo was you, I would have bet everything I had." Han Fei was stunned. "You went too?" Xiao Wushuang nodded. "Of course. We went to scout ahead of time and planned to find a good place tomorrow. Who knew that you would go to the arena before but even warmed up?" Wang Baiyu shrugged. "I didn't recognize you." Xiangning glanced at Han Fei. "I didn't even recognize you after a year." Han Fei punched him. "Naughty boy. Let's go. Let's find a place to have skewers." Xiangnan smiled. "Let's go. I can't beat you in a fight, but I can definitely masturbate." Han Fei was stunned. Yes, you're very good at masturbating, Xiangnan. Why do I feel that there's something wrong with that?" Naturally, Han Fei had seen Xiao Yu and the others on this trip. However, they were the last ones to enter the teleportation array when Old Bai took them there. Later, they went to the Wind Thunder Town and the Tree Core City. Then, they were assigned to different dormitories so they didn't talk to each other. Now that they were free, they naturally had to meet up. They couldn't pretend that they didn't know each other just because they were strong. Very soon, they found a restaurant. Lu Rinquang was the most enthusiastic one to make a reservation with the boss and paid the fee generously. The 9 of them sat down around a big steak. Han Fei and Lu Rinquang quickly took out a barbecue grill. On the table, chili, cumin, garlic, fish oil. Everybody else in the restaurant was dumbfounded. Han Fei quickly brushed the oil on the grill. "Don't just stand there. Grill it." Xiao Yu took over a barbecue grill and looked at the weird meat on it. "What meat is this?" Han Fei said. "It's piranhas I got from the level 3 fishery." "Pooh!" Xiao Wushuang was stunned. "Isn't your taste too strong? Piranhas?" Zhang Xuanyu said, "Piranhas can't eat humans, so they can only eat other sea creatures." "But Han Fei, when did you catch them?" Han Fei said, "There are more than 30 kinds of creatures in my sea-swallowing seashell. I caught them by the way." Everyone, Xia Xiaochan took out a lot of razor clams too. "Can I make this?" Han Fei glanced at them. "This is the same way as the sea clams. They taste good with garlic." Lu Rinquang saw that a few of them were still fine, so he took out a pile of sea spirit sunflower seeds and said, "This is more advanced than the sea melon seeds. I got them in the seaweed city wall." Luo Xiaobai asked, "When did you do it?" "When we were taking a break." Luo Xiaobai took out a dozen spiritual fruits from her sea-swallowing seashell and said, "Specialty of the seaborn prairie. Have a taste." Xiao Yu and the others were stunned. "Are you serious about going to the level 3 fishery?" Xiang then looked at the plate of spiritual fruits covetously and then gave up. "Forget it. Let's eat the skewers first. I'm afraid that I'll have to start cultivating after I finish them." Luo Xiaobai nodded. "It's okay. These spiritual fruits are neither spiritual energy fruits nor energy fruits. They can nourish your meridians and bones. It's fine to eat 1 or 2. Wang Baiyu nodded. "Thank you very much." "You're welcome." While Han Fei and the others were bustling, the other people in the restaurant were dumbfounded. "Are you King serious? Where did this nouveau riche come from to flaunt his wealth? Are all the spiritual fruits on plates?" When the sizzling sound of oil was heard, the fragrance of minced garlic and chili began to spread, and the group of people began to swallow their saliva. Someone asked, "Young people over there, what are you eating? It smells delicious." Lu Rinquang glanced at the man. "Then smell it more." The man, after the meal, everybody went back. On the way, Xia Xiaochan suddenly said, "Xiao Yu, you've chosen the wrong path as a hunter." Xiao Yu was confused. "Huh?" Xia Xiaochan thought for a moment and handed over a jade slip. "When you walk, you still use the footwork of a soul warrior. When you hunt alone, it's very easy to be exposed. Also, the rhythm of your breathing is wrong. When you're invisible, you'll be discovered immediately if you encounter a powerful person. I have a book here. Take a look." Xiao Yu blushed. "Thank you." Han Fei kicked Lu Rinquang. Lu Rinquang. Han Fei winked. Lu Rinquang immediately understood. Oh, Wang Baiyu. "Brother Wang, come here. I think there's something wrong with you as an armorist." Zhang Xuanyu took the hint. Brother Xia, Brother Xiang, I have a problem. Let's discuss it. Seeing Han Fei's behavior, He Xiaoyu was stunned for a moment. Han Fei said with a smile, it's nothing. We help each other and make progress together. After a moment, everybody went back to sleep after the communication. When He Xiaoyu and the others arrived, Xiang Nan suddenly said to Han Fei, wait a minute. Let's talk. Han Fei said to Xia Xiaochan and the others, you go back first. I have something to do. Luo Xiaobai nodded. Okay. Xia Xiaochan added, come back soon. Han Fei nodded. Got it. After a moment, Han Fei and Xiang Nan turned a few hundred meters away side by side. Xiang Nan frowned. Han Fei, what's the meaning of this? You didn't just pass by, did you? Did you bring them here to teach us? Han Fei said with a casual smile, you know, the unknown place. We can't come back anytime soon. We're all from the Heavenly Water Village. I can't help you with anything else, but I can't do anything that will affect your foundation. Xiang Nan sighed and said, do you know that He Xiaoyu works very hard? She has been working very hard since you first showed your talent. Han Fei smiled. I know. Xiang Nan said, no, you don't. It's all because of you that she can have her current achievements. The corners of Han Fei's mouth curled up. Then dissuade her. It's not bad to be a great fishing master. She can also be a dangling fisher, but don't be too excellent. Xiang Nan said angrily, she can only be good enough for you if she's excellent. Looking at Xiang Nan's eyes, Han Fei said solemnly, she can be excellent, but she can't be too excellent, or she will die. I don't want her to die, nor do I want you to die. Xiang Nan glared at Han Fei. Have you ever thought that you would die? Han Fei roared in a low voice, I killed thousands of people directly and indirectly in the level 3 fishery. I'll try my best not to die. Xiang Nan trembled. On the other side of the tree, He Xiaoyu's body trembled too. He Xiaoyu even burst into tears when she heard that. Of course, Han Fei knew that she was there. He was talking to her. Han Fei patted Xiang Nan's shoulder. Live well. Keep an eye on her. Xiang Nan was silent for a moment. What about you? Han Fei thought for a moment and turned to leave. Me? Han Fei thought of the agreement in the undersea city, Sun Mu, Tengu Old Jiang, and his father who was said to have died a long time ago. I still have a long, long way to go. Han Fei left. Xiang Nan stood for a long time. However, after only a few steps, he saw He Xiaoyu who was wiping her eyes. Xiang Nan opened his mouth. Did you hear that? He Xiaoyu turned around and said, he's the only one who can. Who does he think he is? I'm going back to cultivate. If you like Fishing God, please collect. Fishing God's hotbar updates the fastest. Chapter 583. Although Han Fei had rarely seen He Xiaoyu since he entered the Thug Academy, it didn't mean that Han Fei didn't know. He Xiaoyu's strength was clear to Han Fei. Han Fei knew very well how much progress she had made. But it was not enough. Some things couldn't be changed by hard work. Therefore, he preferred He Xiaoyu, Xiang Nan, and Xiao Wushuang to live an easy life. After all, cultivation was not something that could be achieved through hard work and diligence alone. Although Han Fei didn't know what the unknown place was like, it was definitely much crueler than the level 3 fishery. The so-called level 1, level 2, and level 3 fisheries were just a paradise outlined by the strong. Once they left these paradises, who knew what would happen? What would they encounter? However, people's fate was uncertain. Han Fei just thought about it. No one knew what the future would be like. The next day, Xiao Zhan roared, get up. Why are you sleeping? Don't you have enough time? You only know how to eat and sleep instead of cultivating. When Xiao Zhan shouted, Han Fei opened his eyes. He had been reading the spirit-gathering scripture all night. Originally, he repeatedly said that he would study arrays after returning from the level 3 fishery. After coming back, he did study it. During the month in the Heavenly Water Village, he did do something, but he didn't understand this super array. However, he learned one thing. Floating stones. Because of the floating stones, fishing boats could fly into the sky and enter the sea. Therefore, he was very sure that the so-called villages and towns should actually be wrapped in floating stones, followed by arrays. This night, he mainly studied killing arrays. However, Things like arrays were too mysterious. In general, they were just some messy lines, a kind of pattern that could borrow the mysterious energy of heaven and earth. Even in the spirit-gathering scripture, which old Jiang might have studied for a lifetime, there were only finished arrays, which only described the composition, elements, and essentials of these arrays. However, the spirit-gathering scripture didn't introduce how to create them, or rather, how to construct the most suitable formation. There wasn't even a spirit-gathering array. Therefore, when Han Fei went to read the spirit-gathering scripture for the second time, he found this problem. From another perspective, old Jiang was actually sorting out, deducing, and recording the existing arrays. If old Jiang hadn't gone to the unknown place at this time, Han Fei would have followed him and asked questions every day. Now, he could only go back and ask Hexagon Starfish after the exchange competition. On the other side, Xia Xiaochan came out of the room in a daze. Lu Renquang came in from outside with a bunch of skewers in his mouth. Due to the abundance of trees in the tree core city, skewers were sold everywhere. If Han Fei lived here for a long time, he would even want to get a Takashi ball. When everyone was in place, Old Bai and Xiao Zhan were already sitting there. Zhang Xuanyu said, "Principal, everyone is gathered downstairs. Shall we go?" Old Bai said slowly, Wait. How long?" Old Bai said, "Wen, you should be here soon." Everyone was surprised. It's only been 1 day. Didn't they say they would arrive in 2 days? Old Bai said, "We're going to catch a contractual spiritual beast. If we run into other people, they'll say that the students in our school are so miserable that they can't even catch a contractual spiritual beast." Half an hour later, Han Fei said, "Principal, they're all gone." Old Bai said leisurely, "There's no hurry. The strong schools are usually the last to show up." Everyone. After another quarter of an hour or so, suddenly, Wen fell from the sky. She looked at the principal and said, "I've been waiting for you at the entrance of the arena for a long time. What are you doing here?" Old Bai, everyone, Han Fei muttered, "The principal is waiting for you to pretend." Old Bai glared at Han Fei. "Let's go. Remember, today is a day to remember. Our Thug Academy will re-enter the vision of the 36 towns." Then, Zhang Xuanyu had already approached Chu Jinan and Ling Yuan. "What contractual spiritual beast did you get? Is it an exotic type or a legendary type?" Chu Jinan shrugged. "Well, it's actually rare." Ling Yuan nodded. "I was lucky to get an exotic creature." Wen rolled her eyes. "Do you think legendary creatures are as common as cabbages?" However, on the other side, Xiao Zhan carried the ghost, a giant crocodile that had become 30 centimeters long, and stuffed it into Han Fei's hand. "You snatched it back. Take it with you." Wen eyes widened when she saw the little crocodile in Han Fei's hand. "This is a legendary creature. Where did you get it?" Xiao Zhan said, "They snatched it yesterday." Wen asked, "Where did they snatch it?" "I'm going to snatch too. Cough, cough. Old Bai changed the topic. "Let's go or we'll be late." Luo Xiao Bai said, "We're already late." The ghost-eyed giant crocodile was speechless. It felt that it had just come out of a tiger's den and then entered a wolf's den. Why were all the people it met so powerful? At this moment, the ghost-eyed giant crocodile's heart sank. In the arena, at this moment, there was already a sea of people. There were less than 20,000 people who came to participate in the competition in the 36 towns. At this moment, all the seats in the innermost circle of the arena were occupied. The rest were all local residents of the Wind Thunder Town. They mainly came to see how the outstanding young people of their town swept the 36 towns. When Han Fei arrived, he was stopped at the door. The guard said in front of everyone, "The competition has entered the stage of drawing lots. Unauthorized persons are not allowed to enter." Old Bai immediately glared at him. "Do I look like an unauthorized person to you? Are your eyes crooked? Don't you know me, the president of the Thug Academy?" The guard glanced at Old Bai. "I don't know you. Wait here. I'll inform the chief guard." Old Bai took out a token angrily and almost pressed it on the guard's face. "Look at it clearly and inform the head of the guard." Old Bai's aura burst out slightly, and the guard was so scared that his face turned pale. Han Fei glanced at Old Bai. "Mr. President, We seem to have failed to do that. Shut up. Let them in. A voice transmission appeared outside the arena, which seemed to be from a strong master. Old Bai snorted and led everyone into the arena. When Han Fei and the others appeared in the arena, they attracted the attention of a lot of people nearby. Many people were puzzled. Wasn't the arena closed? Why did someone come in at this time? However, when someone saw Han Fei, he was immediately infuriated. Damn it, it's that jerk Han Fei. Asshole, is this the guy who pretended to be octopus weirdo to swindle people? Shameless, shameless. Such a person doesn't deserve to participate in the competition. I'm glad that I can't beat him, or I wouldn't have suppressed my temper. One Rinyu. Chu Jinan and Ling Yuan looked at each other, feeling that something was wrong. We're only one day late. Why are we so notorious? Han Fei, however, stretched out his two hands and raised two middle fingers at the group of people arrogantly. Son of AB *TCH, he's still provoking us? I can't hold back anymore. Someone was lost for words. Then why don't you do it? The man said angrily. If this weren't a match, I would have beaten him up. On Han Fei's side, Old Bai said casually, Xiaozhan, take them to their seats. Old Bai stepped out and appeared in the president's seat in the next second, which startled the presidents next to him. Wu Junwei, president of the First Academy, looked awful. Bai Kongyi, you're disrupting the venue. Su Qianji, president of the Second Academy, glanced at Old Bai and mocked. You were too fast for the audience to see clearly. You should have walked down from the sky. Chu Mingshu, Old Bai calmly took out a bunch of sea spirit seeds, drinks, strawberries, carrots, and other things and put them on the table in front of the angry eyes of the weak principals, as if you were here to watch the fun. Kong Xian, the mayor of the Blue Sea town, coughed. Old Bai, can you watch your image? Bai Kongyi snorted. The match will take a long time. If I sit here and do nothing, wouldn't I be an idiot? Little Kong, come on, I brought you some spiritual fruits that I planted. Have a bite when you're free. Kong Xian. At the center was a resolute, middle-aged man who looked dignified. He looked back at Old Bai and said, President of the Thug Academy, this is the venue. Old Bai sneered. For me, this is a stage. If you like Fishing God, please collect. Fishing God's hotbar updates the fastest. Chapter 584. Old Bai was so arrogant that he seemed to be a completely different person from his usual image. This was because everyone knew that the rise of the Thug Academy was unstoppable. After 30 years, the Thug Academy dared to break into the 36 towns again, which meant that they were ready. Especially yesterday, Han Fei defeated two masters in a row in the Wind Thunder Arena, defeated a legendary creature, and defeated a legendary creature. From this incident alone, the presidents and mayors understood that the Thug Academy's rise to the top was unstoppable. That was also why the mayors and presidents of the Thug Academy demanded that some people of the Thug Academy not use their naturally endowed spiritual beasts and contractual spiritual beasts in the arena. Of course, if an expert that could rival them appeared, they would still use it. However, if such a character hadn't appeared, and the students of the Thug Academy had used various means, then this summit wouldn't have been so meaningful. At this moment, Xiao Zhan led the students to the seats of the Blue Sea town. In the first row, there were 10 empty seats reserved for them. Under countless gazes, Han Fei and the others walked to their exclusive seats with smiles on their faces. Chu Jinan and Ling Yuan were whispering to each other. Chu Jinan said, I feel that everyone is very hostile to us. Ling Yuan rolled her eyes. What do you mean by very hostile? I feel like they're going to rush up and beat us up. Chu Jinan asked, Did Senior Brother and the others do something big here when we were not here yesterday? Ling Yuan nodded. Definitely. When they passed by the fiery dragon town, the eyes of the students were burning. When they passed by the cloud-soaring town, the students and teachers all looked at them enviously. Someone whispered, It's him. He helped us yesterday. Someone remarked, I'm told that this Senior Brother is very strong. Even the hidden fisher of the Wind Thunder Arena intervened yesterday. Someone exclaimed, How great would it be if our cloud-soaring town could also produce such a monstrous genius? Suddenly, Zhang Xuanyu sensed something and said to Han Fei telepathically, There's an acquaintance. Huh? We're in another town. How could there be an acquaintance? Zhang Xuanyu said, "Have you forgotten that we saved a lot of people in the abyssal chasm? A few of them greeted me just now." As soon as Zhang Xuanyu finished speaking, a few voices sounded in Han Fei's mind. "Brother Han, I am Yuan Engraving Town Zhangqian. Thank you for saving my life." "Brother Han, Water Overflowing Towns Yu Guangdong thanks you for saving my life." "Brother Han, Anna Towns Wang Cheng, I can't thank you enough. If you have time, come visit my Anna Town." Han Fei looked at them one by one, only to see that someone nodded slightly now and then. Han Fei couldn't help but sigh. At the beginning, his original intention was actually very simple. He just didn't want these people to starve to death. It was better to be killed than to starve to death. However, at this moment, there were actually quite a number of people who had come to participate in the friendly competition after recovering their strength. They were still the outstanding figures of their respective towns. Xiao Zhan turned his head and glanced at them. "You two have a lot of connections." Han Fei and Zhang Xuanyu both grinned. As soon as they sat down, the mayor of the Wind Thunder Town said, "Referees, take your places. Students from the 36 towns, please get ready. The matchups for the first round have been randomly selected. The match will start in 100 minutes. In the arena, dozens of referees appeared, all of whom were hanging fishers. At this moment, each of them occupied a place. The entire arena was divided into a total of 10 matches. It seemed that 10 matches would be played at the same time. However, it made sense. There were too many students from the 36 towns participating in the competition. Although there were only 300 participants from each school, there were 10,800 people from the 36 towns. If every 10 matches were played, 5,400 matches would be played in the first round, which was impossible to finish in one day. Lu Renquang couldn't help but ask, "Can you watch 10 matches at once?" Luo Xiaobai nodded. "Just watch the matches that interest you. It's best to learn from them." Zhang Xuanyu grinned. "Although it's a bit boring, it's good to find something that interests me." Wenren looked at Chu Jinan and Ling Yuan and said, "You too, watch carefully. No matter how weak a person is, there is usually something you can learn from him." Not only Wenren, but almost all the teachers in the towns were educating the students at this moment. A teacher said, "Open your eyes wide, especially the great fishing masters who came to watch the competition. You are still in the mortal realm. You must seize this opportunity. The 36-town exchange competition is very rare. No matter who you are, you may have something special. Their battle techniques can dazzle your eyes. How much you can absorb depends on yourself." A teacher said, "Watch carefully. After this exchange competition, everyone must write a review of their experience. Don't be sloppy." A teacher reminded, "Students, you must seize this rare opportunity. Don't miss it. Watching this competition will be of great help to your future cultivation. Don't be distracted." Among them, the most serious group of people were the teachers and students from the Cloud Soaring Town. Everyone's eyes widened without the teacher's reminder. This time, about 600 people came from the Cloud Soaring Town. Among them, only 100 dangling fishers participated in the competition. The remaining dangling fishers and great fishing masters were all here to watch the competition. Because the Cloud Soaring Town was weak, they didn't want to send a large number of students to the unknown place for now. Therefore, the 100 people who participated in the competition were all pushed out. Ling Ling said, "Everyone, listen up. After this exchange competition, go back and cultivate immediately. Don't neglect it. If you make a breakthrough, go to the level 3 fishery carefully." "Yes, teacher." While other people were extremely nervous and expectant, Han Fei felt uncomfortable all over. Xiao Xiaochan glanced at Han Fei with a smile. "I've been watching you." Han Fei muttered, "Don't laugh." Xiaoyu glared at Han Fei hatefully. Han Fei thought to himself, "I won't look back. I won't look back." 100 seconds passed in the blink of an eye. Immediately, the referees in the arena began to speak. Yuan Yi from the Golden Dragon Academy from the Million Gold Town versus Gan Ji from the Eternal Peace Academy from the Ninglan Town. Enter the number 1 arena. Hui from the Triumph Town versus Yang Jinchuan from the Red Moon Academy from the Red Moon Town. Get ready. Flame Dragon Town Blazing Academies Hu Li Sin versus Sea Source Town Flying Sea Academy's Pang. Enter the second arena. Shintao Town, Raging Wave Academy, Yanrong, Tianwu Town, Tianwu Academy, Shui Weiwei. Get ready. Zhang Nanshang from Waterfall Academy from Blue Sea Town versus Chuiyu from Tianhe Academy from Ana Town. White Platform Town's Fengtai Academy's Fanming. Shuimi Town's Thousand Waters Academy's Liang Xiu. Get ready. The person whose name was called stood up immediately and walked towards the arena with a solemn expression. On the Blue Sea Town side, when Zhang Nanshang, who was called, got up, a group of people nearby shouted, "Nanshang, you can do it. Brother Shang, kill him. Ah Shang, don't be afraid. Just do it." The leading teacher of the third academy roared, "Don't dawdle. Hurry up. Remember, don't hold back. If something goes wrong, the hanging fishers will take action." Soon, 20 people were in position. Those who were called had already moved to the first row. At this moment, he was looking nervously at the arena. After all, 36 towns were going to compete in the friendly competition this time. It was no longer a matter of personal honor. What they represented at this moment was the face of each town. Everyone knew that it was fine if they couldn't win or lose this battle, but they definitely had to fight with their own momentum. In the arena, the referees all looked cold. After the players were in position, they shouted almost at the same time, "Ready, begin." At the moment the word begin was said, phantoms of spiritual beasts and contractual spiritual beasts appeared in the arena. Some armorists poured out armor from their boxes. Some manipulators threw vines and grasses at the contestants. A soul warrior immediately used a secret technique, causing a cloud of dust to fly up. Seeing this scene, Han Fei couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, "They're really going all out." Wenren sat next to Han Fei. Of course. Don't you see how many pairs of eyes are watching? So, even if they don't seem to be strong enough, they're still shocking when they're fierce. At this moment, Han Fei felt that Xiaoyu's gaze behind him disappeared. She was probably attracted by the battle. Chu Jinan and Ling Yuan widened their eyes and glanced around, as if trying to take in all the battlefield at once. However, for a few people, such as Han Fei's team and even Li Hani's team, they had a choice of targets. In the arena, the most powerful one was Gan Ji from the Ninglan town, a soul warrior. His footwork was weird. He held a huge sword, and he had a crab as his spiritual beast. His attacks were the fiercest. In less than 3 minutes, 9 matches had ended, and the last one was in the field of the armorists, which was a protracted battle. 1 round, 2 rounds. In the 17th round, a referee shouted, "Han Fei from the Thug Academy from the Blue Sea Town versus Xiechuan from the Twin Dragons Academy from the Long Dragon Town." Chapter 585. When Han Fei came to the arena, someone immediately roared, "Kill him! Kill Han Fei! He's a liar! He cheated a lot of money from me yesterday." The audience of the Wind Thunder Town was roaring. Of course, they didn't have any hope in their hearts. Those who were in the arena yesterday all knew that although Han Fei was shameless, he was really strong. In the Wind Thunder Town's territory, 2 people were trembling with anger. Ming Kuan was trembling all over. It's this B***starred who pretended to be Octopus Weirdo. When he was in the arena yesterday, he had the illusion that he was sympathetic to Han Fei. When he woke up and heard Han Fei's bad deeds, he almost ran to the Tree Core City to get even with this guy. Jing Changfeng was also aggrieved. Yesterday, the spiritual attack that he was so proud of didn't work at all. Even the powerful ghost god chain couldn't bind this guy, who made him look like a fool. How could he not be angry? In the seats of the Wind Thunder Town, someone said, "Kuan, is this Han Fei?" Ming Kuan nodded. "Very strong. It said that when he fought with me yesterday, all his injuries were fake." Someone patted Ming Kuan on the shoulder and said, "It's okay. I heard about the legend of this Thug Academy. If he wants to defeat the 36 towns, he has to ask the Wind Thunder Town first." Someone grinned. "Of course we can't underestimate him, but how can we be convinced if we don't fight him?" On the arena, of course, Xiechuan knew Han Fei. Han Fei made such a big fuss yesterday. Every student in the town knew him. However, Xiechuan didn't come to the arena yesterday, so he didn't see Han Fei fight. And what he heard most was not how he defeated the masters of the Wind Thunder Town, but how shameless he was. There were very few descriptions of his combat power. Sichuan said solemnly, "I know you are very strong, but I can't avoid it now. I will try my best, and I hope you can too." Han Fei nodded, took out a small branch, and looked at Sichuan. "Okay, come on." Sichuan. Many people in the audience were stunned. "Can't you respect your opponent?" Han Fei was very serious. "Didn't you see that his spiritual beast had come out? Why are you holding a twig?" On Sichuan's side, he fused with a giant squid, a single-horned shark, and a mess-swallowing worm. In addition, Sichuan seemed to have used some kind of secret technique to raise his strength to the peak, exceeding the theoretical limit of a peak-level dangling fisher. Sichuan shouted, "Han Fei, don't insult me. Do your best." Han Fei picked his ear with one hand. I know. Why did you shout so loudly?" Sichuan asked. "Why are you holding a branch?" The smile on Han Fei's face disappeared. "I just snapped a branch this morning. Isn't that enough respect?" With that said, Han Fei waved the branch, and a knife light tens of meters long swept out of thin air. "Holy shit! What the hell? Is that made from a tree branch?" Many people were dumbfounded. The corners of Chu Jinnan's and Ling Yuan's mouths twitched. This move was designed for the two of them. It was so horrible. He Xiaoyu and the others were all stunned. How could a branch be so powerful? The students who were cheering for Sichuan on the Long Dragon Town side were all dumbfounded. Is this so terrifying? When Han Fei slashed out with this knife, he had already lowered his hand, then tilted his head to look at Sichuan and said, "As you wish, this is my strongest combat skill, Shocking Branch." Sichuan was in no mood to talk to Han Fei at this moment. It was too strong. This knife light came in a flash. It seemed very fast, but it also seemed very slow. He didn't know how to dodge it. It seemed that he couldn't dodge it at all. Flame Spirit Slash. Sichuan knew in his heart that this was no longer the time to compete with combat skills. The appearance of this knife was simply a competition of strength, no fancy tricks at all. Clang! Kacha! The two knives in Sichuan's hands suddenly broke, and the spiritual energy on the knives was directly split apart. His spiritual energy protective cover was shattered, and his battle suit was torn apart. At that second, the only thought left in Sichuan's mind was that he was doomed. Am I going to die in the next second? Sichuan's soul was trembling. He couldn't block it at all. Why? The face of the hanging fisher referee in charge of Han Fei's battle changed drastically. He didn't expect Han Fei to be so terrifying. At this moment, he had already flown out, but it was too late for him to make a move. Swish! While countless people held their breath, the knife light suddenly disappeared and then appeared behind Sichuan, as if it had just flashed in front of Sichuan. The hanging fisher's face changed drastically. He secretly let out a sigh of relief and punched out, preparing to smash this knife light. Bam! The knife light exploded, and the hanging fisher's body trembled slightly. He glanced at his fist, only to see that there was a bloody wound. The corner of the hanging fisher's mouth twitched. What the F***CK is this monster? A casual slash made with a branch could injure a hanging fisher? Sichuan opened his eyes in a daze and touched his face. I'm not dead. Many students from the Dragonlong Academy stood up, their faces full of horror. At that moment, they felt that Sichuan was going to die. The knife light almost touched Sichuan's face, but in the blink of an eye, it appeared behind Sichuan. What was going on? In the president's seats, many people looked at Old Bai in astonishment. In the mayor's seats, a group of people looked at Kong Xian, the mayor of the Blue Sea Town. In the end, the mayor of the Wind Thunder Town took a deep breath. It's not knife intent, but stronger than knife intent. It's a bit like the art of invincibility. The mayors were all hidden fishers, so they had good eyes. But they hadn't actually seen the art of invincibility, so they could only guess. From what they knew, Han Fei's current state seemed to be a bit similar to the state recorded in the rumored art of invincibility. Everyone looked at Old Bai in shock. Is this the Thug Academy? He hasn't shown up for 30 years, but as soon as he showed up, he used the art of invincibility. Han Fei looked at the referee. Can I go down now? The referee's face changed immediately. Yes, Han Fei from the Thug Academy of the Blue Sea Town wins. When Han Fei walked from the arena to the audience, countless eyes fell on him. The ordinary audience was horrified, thinking that this shameless guy was too strong. The student from the major towns looked complicated, and Ming Kuan and the others from the Wind Thunder town smiled bitterly. He was so strong. When he passed by the cloud-soaring town, even the teachers and students looked at Han Fei in astonishment. When he passed by the fiery dragon town, no one showed anger or hatred in their eyes anymore. Do you still want to hate me? Ask yourself if you can block Han Fei's branch first. The three academies of the Blue Sea Town were all silent. They had seen Han Fei's unreasonable combat skills. If they had to describe it in one word, it would be horrifying. He Xiaoyu sighed, full of melancholy. He's so powerful. What should I do? The game continued. Groups of people were being replaced one after another. After a full hour, it was Luo Xiaobai's turn again from the Thug Academy. Luo Xiaobai from the Thug Academy of the Blue Sea Town versus Hong Shufeng from the Heavenly Essence Academy of the Yuan Engraving Town. This time, when the name of the Thug Academy was announced, the cheers in the arena were much lower. On the arena, Hong Shufeng was an armorist. When he drew Luo Xiaobai, he was quite confident. Also, what he practiced was the Wild Sword Array, which was a natural restraint on manipulators. Hong Shufeng said, "Even if you are a student of the Thug Academy, so what? Fuse with the Scavenger, attach with the Axe Crab, attach with the Thousand-Blade Tortoise." Hong Shufeng grinned. "My box is full of swords, my body is full of knives, and I have the powerful defense power of the Scavenger. What can you do?" However, Luo Xiaobai didn't move at all, and the ground suddenly exploded, and thick and slender vines emerged. Red, green, blue. In the blink of an eye, dozens of plants broke out of the ground. Hong Shufeng roared, "Wild Sword Array, Thousand-Blade Slash, Axe Technique, I'll break you." Luo Xiaobai's battlefield was so gorgeous that it had become an ocean of spiritual plants. In the ocean, knives and swords were flying and killing crazily, attracting the attention of the audience immediately. But just as Hong Shufeng was crazily chopping, outside the vine forest, countless thin vines began to interweave. 1, 2, 100, 1,000. A total of 1,000 vines weaved together to form an incomparably huge supervine. It was 5 to 6 meters thick and 34 meters tall. The audience was dumbfounded when they saw this. Bam! The vine was like a whip, lashing into the vine jungle with an unstoppable force. Along the way, none of the swords and sabers could cut through the vine. Hong Shufeng was slapped to the ground by the whip, and even his armor box was slapped into the ground. Immediately afterward, the ground shattered, and countless vines wrapped Hong Shufeng out of the ground like a big ball, leaving only his head outside. At this moment, there was still saliva at the corner of Hong Shufeng's mouth, and he was delirious. All the knives and swords were scattered on the ground. The referee swallowed. Luo Xiaobai of the Thug Academy from Blue Sea Town wins. At the moment the referee announced the result, the vines drilled into the ground and disappeared without a trace. From beginning to end, Luo Xiaobai's face was expressionless, and she didn't even blink. As Luo Xiaobai walked back to her seat with a cold expression, the audience was silent. The first update. Asking for votes. End of this chapter. Chapter 586. After a whole day, 800 matches were played in the Wind Thunder Arena. All kinds of combat skills, abilities, spiritual beasts, and contractual spiritual beasts were dazzling. Chu Jinan and Ling Yuan watched attentively. The other students in the Baihai town, as well as countless students from other academies, were watching attentively and cheer from time to time. The 5 of them could still watch it attentively in the first 3 hours, but then they became numb. At the beginning, they soon found something in common in the eyes of the dazzling players. Not only Han Fei, but the best heavenly talents of the major towns also found it. That was, although these people fought in a fancy way, their combat awareness, combat routines, combat styles, and so on, all became a few recurring types in the end. As the saying went, the essence of a fight was the same. In the end, no matter how fancy they were, they would end up in an endless cycle where whoever had the bigger fist was the strongest. Lu Kwang had already started eating. No one knew when Zhang Xuanyu had run over to the group of girls from the first academy. Luo Xiaobai looked at the field calmly, but sometimes her eyes were unfocused, as if she were in a daze. Obviously, she was absent-minded. Xia Xiaochan and Han Fei were playing crocodiles together. At this moment, two people and one crocodile were talking to each other via voice transmission. Han Fei asked, "Old Ghost, why did you capture the Wind Thunder Town in the first place?" Xia Xiaochan asked, "Is there really a legendary creature in the level 3 fishery? I've never seen one." The ghost-eyed giant crocodile, who had turned into a small lizard, also occupied a chair and snorted. "I didn't enter the level 3 fishery. I just chased a turtle here. I'm still hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from the level 3 fishery. I don't know how I was discovered." Xia Xiaochan asked, "Huh? What's beyond the level 3 fishery?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said, "It's the sea that you humans haven't explored." Han Fei and Xia Xiaochan looked at each other, and Han Fei asked, "Do you know the unknown place?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile's eyes glowed with blue light. "All the unknown sea is the unknown place. Not to mention you humans, even we, the sea creatures, need to explore it." Han Fei was lost for words. "Didn't you say that you were chasing a turtle? Where did you come from?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile, "How would I know? The sea is so big. I swam and swam, and here I am. Have you ever seen a manfish? The humanoid ones with harpoons in their hands." The ghost-eyed giant crocodile looked at Han Fei. "Are you talking about the little sea demon? I've seen him before. However, the little sea demons are too brutal. There are also big sea demons behind them. Usually, they appear in the disordered sea region." Han Fei couldn't help but ask, "What is the chaotic sea?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said smugly, "Since you saved my life, I'll tell you. The so-called chaotic sea region was a sea region where all kinds of creatures could exist. Most of these creatures were cruel and vicious. They hunted and preyed on each other. Not to mention you humans. Do you think sea demons and marine creatures won't fight for resources? They would snatch it all the same. It's just that the chaotic region will snatch it even more fiercely." Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. "Since there are so many resources in the chaotic sea region, why aren't there more powerful marine creatures to fight for them? Wouldn't it be easy for them to wipe out the chaotic sea region?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said disdainfully, "It's easy for you to say. For example, you're called dangling fishers, right? Will dangling fishers fight for resources with shockingly low spiritual energy and energy? The powerful marine creatures don't care about it. Of course, there may be another reason. That is, other powerful creatures are also coveting them." Han Fei didn't care about powerful creatures. In fact, he was more interested in the world outside the fishery. Han Fei couldn't help but ask, "Then tell me about the world outside the fishery." The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said, "I haven't been to your fishery. I just heard it from the guys who guarded me. If I had known that you humans were active in this area, I wouldn't have chased you in." Han Fei blinked and said, "Then have you seen humans before?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile grunted. "Outside your level 3 fishery, in the vaster ocean, there are occasionally large human ships passing by, but those people are very powerful. Wherever the ships pass, creatures will retreat." Wow! Han Fei and Xia Xiaochan looked at each other. There were still humans outside the fishery? Just when Han Fei was about to ask for more details, Wen Rinyu said, "That's all it knows. Most of its understanding of human beings is from human society. As for outside the fishery, to put it bluntly, it is an unexplored place where there will be endless opportunities and secret realms. Every year, there are many strong masters going out of these fisheries. But it's not like what this crocodile said. Creatures will retreat. If humans appear outside the fishery, they'll be besieged by a large number of creatures, right, little crocodile?" The ghost-eyed giant crocodile blinked. "Yes, but low-level creatures like us will retreat. We're not fools. Why would we crash into a human ship?" Han Fei was speechless. Han Fei was lost for words. "Liar, you talk as if there's no danger at all. The ghost-eyed giant crocodile said, "There is definitely danger, but we marine creatures all have a way to survive and are very good at avoiding danger." When Rinyu said, "Don't ask. You'll naturally know when it's time for you to know. Do you really think there is anything outside the level 3 fishery? There are only endless marine fierce beasts. Legendary creatures are legendary in human society, but outside the fishery, in the vast, endless sea, they are actually nothing." Hanfei didn't know what Olbai said to this giant crocodile. Anyway, this little crocodile was very talkative, and even when Hanfei didn't talk to it, it would still talk to Hanfei. In the evening, it was getting late. Everyone couldn't stand it anymore, so the mayors finally ordered the game to be suspended and continued tomorrow. Hanfei and the others walked out while discussing what hot pot to eat. Then they saw some teenagers from the cloud soaring town greet them with a smile. Wenren was surprised. "Did you make friends here?" Hanfei said, "Not really. We just live close to them. They're just downstairs from us." In the evening, after eating hot pot, Hanfei and the other 4 hung on the branches of the central tree, and Hanfei was studying the spirit gathering scripture with his eyes closed. "Senior brother Hanfei, senior brother Hanfei." Suddenly, someone shouted in a low voice. Hanfei opened his eyes and looked down, only to see 2 boys he didn't know looking at him with a smile. Hanfei wondered, "Who are you?" "Senior brother Hanfei, I am Zhang Fan from the clouds soaring town." "Senior brother Hanfei, my name is Su Fu." Hanfei asked, "What can I do for you?" Zhang Fan, who was a little chubby, said, "Senior brother Hanfei, can I ask you some questions about saber techniques?" Hanfei thought for a while. It would be a little unreasonable if he didn't say a few words. So Hanfei turned over and jumped down. Hanfei asked, "What's the problem?" Zhang Fan and Su Fu were pleasantly surprised to see that Hanfei really came down. Zhang Fan said happily, "Senior brother, wait a minute. Why am I your senior brother? You look older than me." Zhang Fan was taken aback. "Then, junior brother?" Hanfei's face suddenly darkened. "Then you'd better call me senior brother." Zhang Fan didn't mind at all. He quickly said, "Senior brother, both of us use sabers. However, when we practice, we always feel that the saber light is too weak. Furthermore, it's hard to control it. Not to mention, when the saber light sweeps out, it's majestic. Is there any trick to it?" Hanfei rolled his eyes. "You want to ask about the shortcut? There's no shortcut. You have to comprehend it. Research. Research." Su Fu hesitated. Senior brother, I can't figure out." Hanfei said, "Try cutting me." "Huh?" Zhang Fan and Su Fu were both stunned. "That's not good, is it?" Hanfei said, "It's not a big deal. Do you want to learn from me? Otherwise, I'm going up." Mid-quality spiritual energy appeared in Zhang Fan's hand, and as he waved his knife light, he was shocked to find that Hanfei hit it with his palm. He immediately exclaimed. Hanfei easily crushed the knife light. "Yes, it's indeed not sharp enough. Is your spiritual power a little weak?" "Huh?" Zhang Fan was taken aback. "What do you mean?" Hanfei explained, "Whether you use a knife or a sword, even if you can't comprehend the unity of man and knife, at least at the moment of your attack, your spirit will be focused, your soul will be stable, and your goal will be clear. You are not determined enough, and your spirit is not full, so of course you can't cut out a powerful knife light." Zhang Fan froze for a moment and then looked overjoyed. "Thank you for your lesson, senior brother." With that, Hanfei looked at Su Fu. "What about you? Try cutting me too." Su Fu also slashed, and Hanfei also took it with his hand. This time Hanfei reacted faster. "You are sharp enough, but the spiritual energy is too impure. Is there something wrong with your cultivation method? You know, the more spiritual energy, the better, but the purer, the better. Otherwise, what do you think the difference between cultivation methods comes from?" Su Fu was stunned. "Is it that simple?" Hanfei scoffed. "How difficult do you think it is? Why don't you ask your teacher these simple questions?" Hearing Hanfei's question, the 2 of them sighed in unison. Hanfei. Second update. Please vote. End of this chapter.